Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
Like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of electrician school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
I've got some good news if you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck. The 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a Sport Performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Jason Gregor Show. Here's Jacob Stapelberg. Stapelberg's ball into the box, headed away by Ocon. It's on Sports 1440.
Stars on the pitch. They've had the solid. Steno driving them forward. Still Steno.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Fly ball right center field. Going back on it is Ewing. Back toward the track to the wall. It's gone. 2-run Schwarber. He's given the Phillies the lead. He's the first to 30 home runs this year, and he's the fastest Philly to 30 home runs this season.
Well, a magnificent Monday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Thanks, as always, for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you, of course, can get in the game. Tomorrow, $10 million Lotto Max. Hopefully you are the big winner of Friday's $40 million draw. Also, we have some Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials for you. Would include, of course, a little Blue Jays action tonight, taking on the Mets. I don't know who's going to win, but the over seems pretty good right now. They score a lot of runs. They give up a lot of runs, especially early on in the game. We'll see if the Jays can get a win. We got some World Cup action for you, of course, as the World Cup continues on. Canada wins their first elimination game, 1-0. Yesterday needed extra time. Well, not extra time, stoppage time to win that game, 1-0, and they'll take on the winner of tonight's Morocco-Netherlands game, which gets going at 7 o'clock our time. Meanwhile, Germany and Paraguay are going to get going in about a half an hour. Earlier today, Brazil got by Japan 2-1. So Brazil moves on. I think that's the 7th straight World Cup that they've been into the round of 16. Now, Canada is going to be the underdog, whether it's Netherlands or Morocco, and both will be very difficult. I think Canada, man, they had some good chances. If that game, they probably deserve maybe more than a 1-0, but you've got to be effective and efficient around the net offensively. If it's me, I'm playing Kyle Larin. He might be their best pure natural goal scorer. I'd have Larin in that game because you might not get as many chances. Well, you're not going to get as many chances, I wouldn't think, against Morocco or the Netherlands as you had against South Africa. So you want somebody that when you get a chance, you got a much better opportunity of burying that chance. So we'll find out. It's not till Saturday, so you got some time to relax. 3 games every day all week. Canada was the only game yesterday. Of course, there are 16 matches, so somebody had to play the first day. Now you got 3 every other day, and away they roll. So tomorrow's matchup has a boatload of games that, Norway, France, and Sweden going at it. Also Mexico and Ecuador. Then the following day, you got England and Congo, Belgium, Senegal, USA, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. On Thursday, Spain, Austria, Portugal, Croatia. That is going to be an epic tilt. Switzerland and Algeria. And then the final round of 32 goes on Friday. Australia, Egypt, Argentina, Cabo Verde, and Colombia and Ghana. And then, of course, they get right into it. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and away we roll. Canada getting here, I don't think is a major surprise. I've seen a lot of people talking about, biggest game ever. Like, it's a big game. Don't get me wrong. It's an elimination game. Regardless of who your opponent is, you win, it's big. But they were supposed to win. They were the favorite. So it's good that they took care of business is the way I look at it. And now, hey, they'll be the underdog. They were the underdog against Switzerland, and they lost. So they'll have to find a way to win a game as an underdog. Because I'll tell you, now, if they could get to the final 8, are you kidding me? Nobody would have thought Canada would get to the final 8. But, hey, you never know. You get into a game, anything can happen. And we'll see how it goes for Canada. Now, speaking of anything can happen, here we are. It's June 29th. And there is one team remaining in the CFL who's undefeated. And it's the Edmonton Elks. They are 3-0. Saskatchewan lost on the weekend. They're 2-1. Edmonton is 6 points up on BC. Now they take on the Lions this coming weekend, Saturday. So what a day for sports. You got 11 a.m. on Saturday will be the Team Canada game. And then at 5 p.m. you have Edmonton and BC. Unreal. It's a great sports day on Saturday. But the Elks will take on BC on the road and have an opportunity to go 4-0 and, more importantly, 8 points up on the Lions. Now, the Lions in 3 games have actually scored more points than the Elks. They've scored 87. The Elks have scored 84. The difference is the Elks have only allowed 68 points. BC's allowed 113. They've got pretty much the worst defense right now in the CFL as far as points given up. So now Edmonton's defense is good. They got the best defense in the CFL, allowing only 68 points. And we saw it against Winnipeg. They stuffed them on numerous opportunities. Now BC has some injuries to the receiving core, but they still got a pretty talented quarterback. This will be another tough game. I think for Edmonton, the key will be, and we'll have head coach Mark Kilam join us in about an hour and 15 minutes to discuss just, I thought, a really dominant first half that could have been much more lopsided had they finished off those 2 drives. right? When Ford gives you the ball inside the 5, you got to put that in. And then I love the fact that they went for it on 3rd down. And the play was there. It was the right call. If Luther just holds onto the ball, doesn't juggle it, he's in the end zone. It's touchdown. And, they're pounding them then. So lots of good positive. They had another long stretch where the offense did nothing. That's been a little bit of a trend this year for the green and gold offensively. So, the third quarter was not good at all. So we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. Kevin Woodley will be by. Brian Ray will join us. The Dallas Stars, Jason Robertson. We know that, there was talk with them making a trade to Seattle. Seattle offers him $15 million. Thanks. No thanks, says Robertson. Obviously, he feels that he can get some big money. Right now, my understanding is he wants $14 million. The Dallas Stars are sitting at 12, saying we don't want to pay him more than Mikko Rantanen. And doesn't seem like either side. Like you could say, well, why doesn't one side go down $1 million, the other side go up $1 million? Who knows? Maybe we'll get to that point. But right now, neither side's really giving in. Now, he is an RFA. So now maybe he files for arbitration. That would be interesting, right? He's 1 year away from being an unrestricted free agent. So we'll have to find out. But there's also the Zach Werenski chatter that he's potentially, at least, I don't know, available might be misleading because I would suggest that Columbus wants to trade him. But after some conversations, it's something they'll consider. They'll look at offers. Don Waddell said, I'll listen to offers. I haven't countered anything yet. So we'll see. And, there's some scuttlebutt that maybe I love that Don Waddell said, hey, man, we're not giving away this guy for picks and prospects. If you want to give Werenski, you're going to have to give us a good player in return. As it should be. It should just be giving away guys just because, well, you know what? I don't like it here anymore. And I got a lot of my money. It was front-loaded contract. So now you guys, not only you're going to trade me, you're going to trade me to where I want to go, which means you're going to lower the return. No chance, man. He's got 2 years left in his contract. This is not a trend I believe the NHL wants to get into, where it's just allowing the players to decide whenever they want to get traded and wherever they want to get traded to. I know people say, well, the teams, you know what? Hey, the teams trade players. Yeah, you're right. But they also pay them. It's not like the players are getting nothing just because the team trades the guy. That's part of it. But you can't ask for a trade and then give a list of 3 or 4 teams and expect that it's going to happen right away. Why would you? It's no different than the Darnell Nurse. We know that Anaheim's interested in Darnell Nurse, but as of yesterday, they weren't on his list. It was Boston, Pittsburgh, and Philly. Now, maybe he changes his mind. We know San Jose has had discussions as well. Because if you're Stan Bowman, you're doing all your due diligence. What can you guys offer? Now, obviously, Darnell has to agree to be traded there. They're not going to go public and agree to a trade and then say, well, now he's got to accept, kind of like Colton Parayko. That's not going to happen. All right. So I think in this case, the offers have, as far as what exactly the return is, has stayed quiet. I think is a smart way to go about it. But the fact that Anaheim's very interested, they're making it clear they're interested. Maybe Darnell Nurse has a change of plans and says, okay, you know what? All right, I'll go to Anaheim. Got some good young players. I'll go to San Jose. Maybe, but that's farther from his family. Right? His mother-in-law, his parents. So maybe that's why. But you can ask for a trade. But the other thing is, starting next year, Darnell Nurse only has a 10-team no-trade list. His say becomes infinitely smaller. So if you negotiate that, say, well, hey, man, next year, I can trade you wherever I want. You won't have a say in it. This year, you can at least have a say. Here's some teams that are offering. It's better than us just trading you, and you have no say. So we'll see where it goes from there. The Oilers, no surprise. They qualify Colton Dach and Spencer Stastny. Also, Robbie Yarventi, but he's already signed in Europe for this coming season. They just retained his NHL rights. Owen Michael, who they signed out of college at the end of last season. He burned his ELC because he could only sign a 1-year deal at that point. So he signed it, didn't play in the final few games of the season, wasn't eligible to go to the minors, but they qualify him. He'll sign a contract. And it's not an ELC, but he'll sign a contract starting for next season. Matvey Petrov does not get a qualifying offer, nor does Josh Bloom, and neither one of those are a surprise. So no real surprise there. I think the Oilers, Colton Dach, I could see a 2-year deal coming for him. Price point, I'm not sure. Give or take $950 to $1 million, somewhere around there. Away we goes. Stastny, I'm not sure why you would do more than a 1-year deal at this point. I'm not sold. Well, he didn't play. Not like right now. He's a number 7 defenseman. Why would you give him a multi-year deal? Doesn't make any sense to me. So you qualify him, and that's kind of where it's at. He signs it or he doesn't. I don't know if he's really in the boat. Like, I don't think teams are going to be lining up to give the guy an offer sheet. So what other option does he have? Spec will be by. Rick Precy, the Oilers Director of Amateur Scouting, will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We got some stats of the day for you. After the weekend, there's always a few doozies to get to. So to get to all that, Declan Kruger is in for Connor Halley, who is on holidays. Deck, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, doing very well. Excited to watch the Germany-Paraguay game here in about 15 minutes or so in studio. A little bit hectic today. No Wi-Fi working, so I'm in here alone. You're obviously at home, but making it work.
What about your thoughts on the Elks? Hey, they're 3-0, man. It's a great start to the season. And obviously there's areas of their game they really want to improve. And I think most of it's offensively. Like defensively, there's not much you can complain about because without rain, their defensive line said they wanted to be better, and they were infinitely better against Winnipeg.
Yeah, the pressure was there. They were getting home. They were stunting well. They were getting off blocks. Like, we broke it down on Elks Nation this morning for Steele's Reels, and he was just going through some really beautiful stuff the defensive line was doing. When you talk about the Elks, of course you always want to improve. You always want to get better, but it's gone from what it's been for the last 7 years or so, and last year, we need to fix these glaring errors. It's gone from that to just, we need to take it from A+ tier to S tier. And I think that's such an unbelievable spot for this club to be in. They're firing on all cylinders. Obviously, always things you can shore up and improve on, but they're the only undefeated team in the CFL, and they look like the best team in the CFL.
They look really good right now. And I think their offense has the ability, if they can just finish more drives, to really put some teams away a lot sooner, right? Like Justin Rankin had a good game. He's the first ever Elks player to start the season with 3 consecutive games of 100 yards rushing. So, and the first player to do it in the CFL since Corey Sheets did it in the first 6 games back in 2013. And now, like, Rankin was good, but it wasn't like he was the only guy going for them the last game, which is obviously helpful.
Yeah, I thought Cody looked so crisp. One of the best games I've seen him play in an Elks uniform. Like, his pop and his zip was there. And obviously 2 rain games to start the year. You don't always see that. The craziest thing about Justin Rankin's game, he had by far his worst game of the season. And he had over 100 yards and averaged 7.1 yards a carry. And it was far and away his worst game of the season. Like, that just speaks to his greatness and how special he is as a player. So yeah, things are working right now.
Do you have any concern that he has 2 fumbles in 3 games?
No. The second one was it was a great positional play. He tried to cut it outside. I thought it was a helmet on ball. It might have been a hand on ball. Of course you have to hold on to the rock, but I'm not nervous at all. And the other thing is it's similar to Evan Bouchard in a sense, but I actually think to a greater degree, all the things he does well so heavily offset the few mistakes we'll see. Now, yes, the worst thing you can do with the football is turn it over, but how valuable he does and how much he impacts that offense and makes everything flow, it so vastly outweighs those couple fumbles that I can't be concerned about it.
Yeah, okay. It's definitely something for me to consider for sure. So, hey, it's a small thing. When you're 3-0, you could look at little details to make them better. We'll take a quick break. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. When we return, Kevin Woodley joins us here on the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of electrician school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
I've got some good news if you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck. The 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Wednesday, July 1st, the free agent pool is open for swimming, and Sports 1440 has the perfect man to dive in. Join me with special guests required.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-59-8 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Monday afternoon. How are you? Hope you had a good weekend. Man, another crazy rainy weekend. Man, you see some videos out there. Hopefully, I've seen lots of different ones. You know, I look up in Canmore. They got a lot of roads washing out and, you know, different properties, people that are, you know, some cabins flooding all over the place. So hopefully you are not one of those people who are stuck with water issues. They're the worst. They are. So thoughts to all of you who are struggling with that. Flooded basements suck. I know it. We grew up with a house that had a leaky basement at times. It was the worst, man. I hated it. So good to get a little little twinge, little twitch every time you see the rain, man. I'm that guy who's every time I hear the sump pump come on, I'm like, oh, okay, good. It should be good. But man, hopefully the massive rain is done. I know at the Glendale, just kind of on the in between St. Albert and Edmonton, they had like 70 millimeters, right? So 7 centimeters, almost 3 inches of rain on the weekend, combined with the 5 we had beforehand. And I know other areas have had much more. So it's crazy stuff. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to lots of our texts, but first we're going to get to Kevin Woodley around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And on a day like today, tomorrow, it's going to be great weather. Just remember, dollar cones. Download the app through the McDonald's app, and you get a $1 cone all day, every day, all summer, only at McDonald's. Is Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Join us, Woodley. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you, Jason?
Well, just living the dream, as they say. Living the dream. I know the Canucks made some trades here recently, so I want to get your thoughts, though, on a former Vancouver Canuck in Jacob Markstrom. And, there's lots of talk about him and, where he's going, where he's at in his career. Like, I'm sure you follow him. Like, he's had years great, and then the next year it'd be down, and the next year it'd be great. And where do you come out on Markstrom? And do you think a change of scenery would benefit him, or does he and New Jersey just need to play better?
Ooh, it's a good question. It's a little bit of everything with Jacob. Like, I took a look at sort of his underlying numbers this past year, and you're right, they were down. And yet, like, it was bad moments, bad games. Like, you get stuck in there for all 9 and your numbers, it takes a while to recover from that. Like, so there were moments like the night where he got left in for 9 that just nuked his statistics. And despite that, he finishes just ever so slightly below expected. Like, it's not like he had a terrible season. And that, of course, is reflective of the environment, right? So the fact that you can look at the raw numbers and be like, oh, what do you mean he's talking? What's this guy talking about? Didn't have a terrible season, but they weren't great defensively. And yet behind the same team, Jake Allen was the top 5 adjusted numbers guy, and a guy that, looks full value for a real bargain contract extension in New Jersey, like just exceptional numbers. To me, the talent's always been there. I know in talking to people close to Jacob and the Devils who are making some changes, they moved on from, I ranted a little bit already about them moving on for their goalie coach. But I think they're going to be a team that adds a director, and they've got a new goalie coach hired already. I'm going to keep that under wraps for now. Just been asked to hold on to that for a little bit, but some new people to work with Jacob. I just think a lot of what happened last year too is like the dips he had, there are usually reasons around it, playing through certain things or not playing at 100%. After coming back from the Olympics, was one of the guys that really got worn down by that. And he wasn't the only one, but that played a role in his numbers. Like, there's better there. There's no question. The grain of salt is like, you can't workhorse this guy. He cannot be a workhorse for you. And that was established as far back as when he was with the Canucks. Like, you would see his game deteriorate the more he played. He is not what I would call he likes to just go out there and play on instinct. Okay. And so, but his game gets loose when he does it for too long. So you need the technical reps and the drills and the time and the energy to work on those in practice, or you start to lose them. Like, he doesn't think his way through the game. He goes out there and just plays. So if he goes out there and just plays for too long, the details start to slip. You need a goalie coach that knows what the details are, what the foundation is, and the time and the rest in between starts to make sure you're always drilling those in. Because if you're drilling them, they become innate and he's not thinking out there. And then some of those foundations stay there. But he can get pretty loose in his game the more he plays. And so I think you saw signs of that at times last year as well. So like there's a goalie there, Jason. Like, obviously we see the physical tools. And when he plays in a controlled manner, like, the potential is really high. And yet one of the bugaboos, bad goals, like too much clear-sighted stuff goes in on him. And again, to me, that's elevation changes from high stance to low stance off rush stuff. too aggressive, gets caught moving. Like he moves so explosively, but he gets caught in transition. Like I think if you took him, and I've talked to a few goalie coaches that think they could take him and neutralize his game, but he's been doing this for a long time, and getting him to make drastic changes, like I said, I don't know that you can think your way through them so much as you have to rep your way through them. And so counting on them being quick or easy with him, might be a little naive.
Free agency begins in less than 2 days. And the goalie market, goalie Bob might be there. Stuart Skinner looks like he's going to be there. You've got Tarasov, which is interesting. When you start to look at teams who need goalies and the goalies that are available, could you play the matching game where you look and say, okay, I think this goalie's a fit for this team? Have you gone down that route yet?
Well, here's the problem. I haven't fully determined who needs guys, right? Like there's not a lot of clear cut needs out there. Like the Winnipeg, sorry?
Nobody. Florida, they have nobody.
Well, I told you last week, and I've done a little digging, and I don't have anything. I still bet that it ends up being Sergei Bobrovsky and Daniel Tarasov. Like okay. That would be my bet right now. And I know there's a lot of reporting by a lot of good people out there, but I don't think Bob wants to leave Florida. So we'll have to see what happens there. And then obviously the Hellebuck thing. Like I still think Eric Comrie probably ends up back in Winnipeg, and they're a perfect partnership. But if you're moving on from Connor Hellebuck, like there are a couple key cogs here. Bobrovsky's one, admittedly, despite what I think will happen, and Hellebuck's the other one that change everything. Yeah. And the truth is, Jason, when I look at the unrestricted free agent goalie market, like if you're shopping on that for real help, like somebody you need to count on to maybe be a 1 or a 1A, that's a risky spot right now. I've talked to you about this before. Like there are 2 goalies with numbers that were above expected on that UFA list last year. Now, Stuart Skinner on his career has been above expected, but last year was slightly below. But last year, like the results, it's Connor Ingram, it's Daniel Tarasov barely, and there's a bunch of guys that are well below it. So, I've talked to a couple of teams about this that were like, do we need to go get a guy on the unrestricted free agent market? And at least one of them was like, this is not a market, like told their general manager, this is not a market we want to be shopping in. Like I will find you something better off waivers than what is available in unrestricted free agency. Now, listen, a team that's not necessarily in a win now window can make decisions like that. They're also probably going to be further down the pecking order and higher up on the waiver claim list, because the risk of relying on a waiver claim is that some of the teams that know they have a valuable asset are perhaps going to hold on to them because they've got room to carry 3, or at least make you play the waiting game. And now you could be stuck at the start of the season without a lot of options. And to tie this back into the draft, like that was a record number of goaltenders that we saw selected yesterday. We've never seen 32. We see 6 teams take multiple goalies. I think that part of it, and I've had a couple of goalie coaches around the league reach out and say like they really like the depth of this draft from a goalie perspective. There are a lot of really good goalies in this draft. So part of it is just there's a ton of young talent out there. But part of it is I think teams are looking at this and they're looking at these musical chairs and all the uncertainty and all the volatility at the highest end of the position. And they're just like, damn, we better have a bunch coming. You better constantly have a churn of young up-and-coming goaltenders to fill some of these spots, because as soon as a guy ages out and he needs waivers, there's a risk there. You need to have somebody pushing him. Like it has to be a constant sort of churn. And again, this is something I've been saying for a couple of years now, and I always say it's at the risk of my goalie union card, but I had a few people sort of relate what happened at the draft over this weekend to this, and the idea that really what you should be avoiding here if you're general manager is turn with goalies, because there is so much volatility in the position. And what you should be doing is building out a system where you're just constantly have guys pushing up from below.
That makes sense. Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. Well, the Oilers do need another goalie. And, maybe but they haven't signed Ingram. So he's one, or they have to get another one. And, it sounds like Ingram wants to be here, maybe depending on the money, all that. If they don't get Ingram, who do you think the Oilers should go after? And I'll give you the list, Kev, of free agent goalies right now. Bobrovsky, Skinner, Freddie Anderson most likely doesn't have a contract yet. Cam Talbot, David Rittich, Danil Tarasov, Eric Comrie, Vantasek, Calvin Pickard, James Reimer, Lauren Brossois, Mad Sogard, Peter Mrazek, Phoenix Copley. Those would be the guys.
I'm not honestly, for what they need, honestly, for what they need, there's nothing there that I'm going that's a slam dunk. Now, again, I talked to you last week about how are they going to play, right? It's really hard to answer that question because we don't know what they are. And part of this is because there's a new coaching staff in place, and what you need to succeed behind different systems and different emphasis points defensively, that varies. Again, we talk let's put it this way. On that list there's some good goalies there. But like I said about Bob, I don't think he's going to be an option. And are the Oilers good enough to get through the regular season with a goalie who has been consistently below expected in the regular season, but then rises in the playoffs? Yeah, they're probably good enough to survive regular season Bob and get to playoff Bob. So maybe that, but do I think Bob's coming to Edmonton? No. Stuart Skinner, I think that they literally got rid of him because something needed to change. That's not coming back. Those are a couple of the top options. If Daniel Tarasov makes it, would I be interested there? Yeah. Because I think there's still upside there. Although I had a coach that talked to me about he just thinks his game deteriorated so much in Columbus that he's not sure the upside is still to the same degree it used to be. So bit of a project. But again, for 2/3 of a season, he's the most attractive name to me. I'd go to the waiver wire. And again, real easy for me to say, yeah, just wait for the waiver. Because there's no guarantee you get these guys. There's a huge risk. But, Michael DiPietro's not going to be a pick for the Edmonton Oilers because their new head coach doesn't like small goalies. Just traditionally, that has been something, talking to people around it. People have been around Mike Babcock and other organizations, just doesn't like small goalies. So DiPietro's not an option. You know who had a terrible season last year, but is a legit prospect who, with good goalie coaching, has a Jakub Dobeš-like profile and could very much end up on waivers, or the team, knowing there could lose him on waivers, you might be able to get him in a trade right now?
Who?
Levi Merilainen. There are goalie coaches out there that I remember doing this exercise last year, and it's a hell of a lot easier to make this statement when he was coming off a great first season in the NHL than the year he had last year where the pressure seemed to get to him and he was one of the worst goalies statistically in the league. But he was a top 10 guy when I polled goalie coaches and directors around the league last year and balanced it all out. He was a top 10, hanging around the edge of top 5 guy in most people's books. He'd had NHL success. There are goalie coaches out there that look at his profile in terms of what he does on the ice, the type of goalie he is, and they're he's not that far removed from giving you Jakub Dobeš minutes. But if you're the Oilers, can you afford that type of project? And that's where it's really hard to find a fit. You go shop on the veteran free agent list. Yeah. Like I said, there's not a lot of guys there where it's there's some reliability there for sure. There's not a ton of upside on that list outside of Daniel Tarasov.
Yeah.
It's a tough place to be shopping.
Yeah. So you think he's a guy that has some upside. Doesn't mean he's going to be Dobeš right away. Obviously, Dobeš was great, but what is it about him that gives him the Dobeš potential?
Size, length, intelligence, and again, he didn't handle the pressure when there was no pressure 2 years ago. And this is the part you can't see between the years. When there was no pressure 2 years ago, he's playing with house money. He gets called up. He's just basically filling in. He was great. All of a sudden, he needed to be the guy. Linus needed time off this year, and there was pressure on him in some of those starts, and he really struggled. But the physical tools, the technical game, the foundation is there. But, I think if I was a team in sort of a rebuilding mode and I had room on my roster and I wanted to turn somebody into an asset or maybe find my, not necessarily number one of the future, but a guy who could be a good tandem goalie of the future, I'd be all over him off waivers. The problem is that's not Edmonton, right? Yeah. So it's a tough spot. I feel bad here because I don't have a ton of answers, Jason. But me looking at that UFA list, now they're going to have a better idea because they want to know, they're going to be able to, in theory, and I'm not sure they have the analytics to do this, to be quite honest, but in theory, they should be able to be this is how we're going to play. This is what we're going to take away. This is what we're going to give up. Let's match the profile a little bit. To a certain degree, they can do that, not to the depth they can if they were working with a company. And I think they might have clear sight, but not the full package. So honestly, it's a hard exercise without that information in terms of knowing how they're going to play. But and Edmonton fans will know this one quite well. The thing I equate it to is it's the Jack Campbell thing. Like, we need a goalie. We better go get a goalie in unrestricted free agency. Like, Jack Campbell had great numbers. The adjusted numbers said they were in the 30s, right? Like, his best season in Toronto ranked in the 30s, and you paid him to be a number one. I'm telling you, other than bringing back Connor Ingram and potential upside of Daniel Tarasoff, every other guy on this list ranks well below that in terms of the season that they are coming off of analytically.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it is hard. Like, it's hard to know until you see it. You can make a projection. Now, the Oilers themselves will know what style Mike Babcock's playing.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Like, and it matters. Like listen, the projection on Vegas's goaltending changed once John Tortorella took over. Right? They played different defensively in front of Carter Hart after Carter Hart struggled too under the Bruce Cassidy system and the way things were going in Vegas earlier. But the detention, whether it was just the determination and attention to detail defensively, but I think they started collapsing a little bit more and sort of taking away the house. And so, like, that changed the results for Carter Hart, because before the injury, he didn't succeed in Vegas. Like, he was struggling like everyone else was until the change in coaching staff. So, like, and I say that just because it's an example of how much this matters.
Oh, yeah. I don't disagree with you. So it's going to be fascinating. Now, what about the draft picks? You mentioned people like the goalies. A few years ago, Sebastian Cossa and Wallstead, I hate bringing it up because some Oilers fans, rightfully so, get frustrated. But Sebastian Cossa, Detroit took him. Never really played him, Kevin. Then they traded him to Utah. I like that trade.
I can't believe they got a first-round pick back.
No.
The profile's there. He's a former first-round pick, but it's I keep hearing people that have access to better numbers in the American League saying, like, and goalie coaches that aren't sharing numbers with me from the American League, and full caveat, I don't have those numbers, but they're sort of whispering to me that, like, it's not to be disrespectful to Cossa because they think he's a good goaltender, but that a lot of the numbers you saw were in part, and it always is, we just had this conversation. It's a function of what's going on in front of you, right? And so there was a little less exposure. That's Utah taking a risk there, right? Like we just talked about, I think I can find you a guy on waivers or a guy who might be available on trade because of waivers with a ton of upside. For example, Levi Merilainen. This is what Utah's doing. Like, rather than going back to Vanacek, who really struggled there. I didn't love that signing in the first place, but really struggled there. They're like, this unproven guy with him and Vejmelka, this is what we got. We're going to go with this. Right. And that's the type of risk you'd be taking if you're the Oilers, except Carl Vejmelka has had more recent success than Tristan Jarry. But that's the type of risk you're looking at in a waiver wire claim. But it's essentially Utah saying what I just said. I think, as risky as it is, I can find a better goalie that's a number 3 somewhere else and either needs to clear or can be traded because they need to clear than I can on that UFA list. And that's essentially what Utah just did. Yeah. And yes, I did just spill coffee all over my lap. That was the noise you heard. It's dripping right now. It's not a pleasant experience.
Oh, buddy, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. You talk with I try and talk with my hands below the screen usually, Jason, but the coffee was there. Didn't see it. Yeah, peripherals. I'm off today.
Hopefully it didn't go on any of your equipment, because that's always
no, nothing's shorting out. It's just someone's going to need a shower here.
Oh, there you go. Well, Kev, we will chat with you next Monday, because after free agency, we'll see where the coaching carousel. It's not the goalie carousel. It's not as busy this year, but that and the goalie coach announcement, you can tell us next Monday.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of announcements around the league, and I will say this, little tease here, because I am always the champion of more people in more goalie positions. I may talk about short term, but I still have a union card. As much as I will trumpet one team adding a director, another team has walked away from a well-established director, and as I understand it, is not going to fill a position. So we've talked about that a lot in Edmonton. Do you need to add more voices in the goaltending department? Full exposure, right? I'm going to trumpet one that did it, but there's another one that's just decided they don't need it anymore. So it's an interesting time in the goalie world.
Ooh, all right. Well, we'll talk about that as well. Kev, have yourself a great day.
Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. And Kev brings up a great point as far as who the Oilers are going to look at. And when it comes to goaltending, depends kind of what style Babcock wants to play. And the coach, make no mistake, the coach is going to have some say. Not every say, but he'll have some say as far as potential options. But Carolina was an interesting name to look at for the Oilers and really any other team. But like he said, he goes, not sure it's a fit in Edmonton, maybe a fit for another team somewhere else, because it's hard to know, but sometimes you got to take a bet. And if you're in a rebuild, that's the time to do it. Quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And man, we're talking about a team that seems to be involved in every trade talk right now. We'll do it next on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Canada's men's rugby team at Clark Stadium. July 4th, Canada takes on Spain. July 11th, a doubleheader as Canada battles Portugal and Tonga faces Spain. Build the home field advantage for Team Canada. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
Looking for a truck that can handle anything Alberta throws your way? Wolf GMC Buick has the offers to get you behind the wheel. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 models. Plus, trade in an eligible 2015 or newer pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Hey, what are you thinking for dinner?
Nothing we have to cook in the oven, I'll tell you that. It's hot enough in here already.
Luke here from Catch of the Week with some super fresh summer supper ideas. How about you grill up delicious buttery jumbo prawns or enjoy a fresh mouth-watering seafood salad? And you can never go wrong with sushi. All this and more at Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, Edmonton's best seafood. Just off the Henday in Capilano, only 5 minutes from Sherwood Park. Details and directions online at catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.245. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McClellan with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Say hi to Mac down at YouTube. Give her a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. It'd be great. So lots to talk about, of course. The undefeated Edmonton Elks, first place, not only in the West, but in the entire CFL. Green and gold fans have been waiting a long time. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Now they go to BC, and then they are home for a few games. Because they could be 4-0 with 3 of those wins coming on the road. So either way, they're already 2-0. So worst case scenario, they'll come back at 3-1, which I'm sure if you would have asked anybody in the organization, any fan, to say, hey, they'd be 3-1 through 4 games, you'd be pretty excited about that. Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years. They've grown, evolved into one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. Testing, solar, and more. Learn about all they offer at actionelectrical.net. And speaking of a team that seems to be involved in all sorts of trade talk, Jason Robertson, this is the contract and the discussion's been going on for a long time. He's an RFA. He's got 1 year left of free agency, but he is also pretty sought after. Heck, Seattle was going to pay him 15 sheets a year, and he said, no thanks. So where are we at? We hear that the Stars are at 12 million. Robertson's camp's at 14 million. So far, neither side is budging. Do they budge later? Will there be an offer sheet? I don't know. Like, an offer sheet's going to cost you probably, unless it's, well, based on what he's asking for, it's going to cost you 4 first-round picks. So, I don't know. Teams would probably like to do another deal. There's the rumors about Werenski, and would there be a Thomas Harley for a Werenski deal? Something else like that. Brian Ray joins us, Voice of the Stars. Brian, how you doing, man? Brian, are you there? Oh, well, there. He just dropped. So we'll try to get him back in a second. But I heard the drop, too. Bong. And we'll see what happens. But we'll get him back in a second. Dallas is an interesting team, man. We know they're aggressive. You know that they're looking at different things. There's the Dylan Larkin rumblings have been out there as well. But, you got to have to deal something if you're going to acquire, all the big tickets. And then they've got some big tickets ranting at 12 million. Tyler Seguin has 1 year left at 9.85. Rupe Hintz has meant 5 years left at 8.45. Wyatt Johnson, 4 more years at 8.4. On the back end, Thomas Harley's 10.58. 7. Heiskanen's at 8.4 for another 3 years. Essa Lindell, 5.2 for 4 seasons. So, Jake Ottinger, obviously, at 8.25 for another 7 seasons for him. So they've got their foundational pieces. Jamie Benn is a UFA. Michael Bunting's likely going to test the market. But Jason Robertson and Maverick Bourque are their big RFAs. And, there's some people speculating maybe Maverick Bourque could be an option for an offer sheet, potentially. Robertson, I don't know. Like, I guess a team could do it if they really wanted him. You're like, hey, we'll give up 4 first-rounders. And if you think you're going to be a very competitive team, I could argue that that's still probably pretty good. But then you've got to free out the other cap space, right? Because if you're going to offer sheet him, it's going to have to be at least 14 mil, maybe more. So we'll see. But the Stars are definitely an interesting team to be looking at right now for them. So we'll try to connect with Brian here in a second. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, GMs need to smarten up, make sure they have a clause moving forward. If the player or the agent goes public with wanting to be traded, then no trade is null and void from BG. I guess if you could get the wording written in the contract, but something tells me that I don't know if teams are going to, stick as, hey, this guy wants to sign here and we really want him, but then he doesn't want that clause. I don't know if it's enough to be a deal breaker for teams. Maybe it would be, I don't know if a team would say, well, we're not going to give you the contract unless you're going to sign to this. But I don't. And then again, well, obviously, how would you enforce it? Because what if the player said, well, no, I didn't leak it out. You guys leaked it out. So I don't know how you could ever enforce that either. So I don't think it's possible. Brian Ray is back with us now. And so, Brian, the Jason Robertson saga, man, it's going on for, really over a year and maybe even longer because everybody knew now with big name guys when they're going to be RFAs or when their contract's expiring here. Obviously, Seattle made a pretty big pitch and he said no. I've talked to lots of people who feel Robertson wants to stay in Dallas, but he also wants the money. So at the end of the day, this is coming down to money. $14 million for him right now. The Jim Nill camp is at 12. Do you think they meet in the middle, or is it like if they haven't met in the middle at this point, they're probably not going to meet in the middle?
Well, first of all, they have clearly put a gag order on my cell phone. They do not want me talking about this with you guys. So, you know what? Whether they meet in the middle, I have no idea. There are only two people that know how this is going to end, and it's Jim Nill and it's Jason Robertson. And both sides have a decision to make here. From what we've seen reported and what people are putting out there, and Jim Nill acknowledged yesterday, they want to re-sign Jason Robertson. They want him to be a Dallas Star. That is their preference, and that is what they want. But he also did acknowledge the potential trade with Seattle, and they do have to also conduct themselves as a business and consider all possibilities for how this situation could play out. I think that I'll call it the news. I don't think it's good news. I don't think it's bad news, but we're starting to see these qualifying offers pop out around the NHL because we're coming up on that deadline, and Jason Robertson is an RFA. So we are getting to a point where another check mark is going to have to be knocked off, and that is whether Dallas chooses to qualify Jason Robertson or not. If they do, now we get into the offer sheet side of things and whether that could potentially happen. Or if nothing happens there, there is still the lingering arbitration door if you want to open that up on either side of things. So we're going to see some type of evolution in this. Whether it's meeting in the middle, I don't totally know, because the Dallas Stars cap situation trying to plan for Jason Robertson is as tight as it can possibly get. And if you jump into a $13 or a $14 million number, now their cap situation is a problem. And now you have to move another body to deal with that cap situation. And now teams are not going to cut you a break because they know you have to move a body because you're in a cap. I mean, we see this play out with GMs all the time, that are in cap problems where they just have to move bodies. So there's a lot of ways that this can still go, but hopefully it evolves a little bit further over the next 24 to 48 hours because we're at the qualifying offer check mark of all this.
And then there's Maverick Bourque, and a lot of people like, oh, this guy could be, and I understand it, right? Younger player. And, when teams are up against the cap, you're like, can we squeeze this guy? Not him, but can we squeeze the team? Because they'd obviously offer him a decent contract. Hearing anything lately on Bourque and maybe how close or far apart him and the Stars are?
There's not been a lot with Maverick Bourque. Jim Nill, when we were chatting with him yesterday, said now that they're done with the draft, it's time for him to start approaching those discussions, both Maverick Bourque and Jamie Benn for the Dallas Stars. So there's been very little information, if anything, on the Maverick Bourque side of things. I think once again, you look at how this week could play out, we're going to see some type of evolution on the Robertson side, and I would imagine maybe dovetailing off that as the week goes along, maybe some scuttlebutt starts to hit the airwaves on the Maverick Bourque situation. And I asked Jim Nill when the playoffs were done and we were having our final end of season media conference with him, like, do you have to move the Robertson elephant before you can conduct any of your other business? And he told me no, he does not have to handle Robertson first and then get to everybody else. There are some things he can do outside of that. He didn't specifically say Maverick Bourque, but he did acknowledge Jason Robertson is not the first ball that has to roll down before anything else can occur.
Okay. Then, the newest one, of course, people are like, oh, geez, Werenski's available. And Don Waddell said, hey, I'm not giving him away. And right away, because Dallas seems to be involved in everything, people are like, well, Thomas Harley for Werenski, and maybe there'd be something else. Like Thomas Harley just signed, right? Big deal. But hey, I know how sports works. But would they, when you've got their top three in Dallas could match up against a lot of teams' top three, and Harley and Heiskanen and Lindell, no question. Do you think Werenski would be that big of an upgrade in your eyes?
Over Thomas Harley?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one to handicap, because I think Thomas Harley himself would acknowledge he thought this was a down year for him from an NHL standpoint. Obviously, he was on the Olympic team. We've seen a lot of players. You have one down year, and then obviously things can take off after that. So that's another one that it's not just, okay, you and I can be talking here and on paper and just say, okay, yeah, well, you just move Thomas Harley, you bring in Zach Werenski. No, there's going to be more pieces that have to be attached to any type of deal if you're going to go and get somebody like Zach Werenski. So that muddies the waters quite a bit. The thing with me in the Dallas blue line, it's less about Zach Werenski, and I have always felt they have missed Chris Tanev ever since he went to Toronto. And maybe not Chris Tanev specifically, but just they have always had, if they could just get a little something better on the right side of that second pair. They just haven't quite been able to fill that Chris Tanev hole for a couple of years now. If you go and get Zach Werenski, great, but now you're probably losing a player like Thomas Harley.
I think we lost Brian there.
I think you hear Dallas's name in on a lot of this stuff because of where they stand in terms of their contention window, the success they've had, and these are all players that are looking to join teams that are successful and can compete for Stanley Cups. So they're and also if you want to play the no tax card, sure, the no tax card, sure. So it's easy to attach all these players to Dallas. And of course, there's interest when you have 31 teams are interested in Zach Werenski. 31 teams are interested in Dylan Larkin. 31 teams are interested in Jason Robertson. But it's the reality of how many assets do you actually have to, one, make the deal? Two, does the other side like your assets? And three, does that player make you a tick better than what your status quo is? And those are difficult questions to answer right now, especially with assets. Dallas has dealt a lot of prime assets over the last couple of seasons because they've been loading up at the trade deadline. But, I was reading an article on the Werenski thing today. You're looking at the teams that have been listed as potentially interested. And yes, Thomas Harley is a very valuable asset with eight years of a contract locked up underneath them, which is something that Columbus would probably be interested in. So, when I see reports that Dallas is interested, sure. When I see reports that Dallas could be a good trade partner, I can see where a package would start with Thomas Harley. But I think, just for me going off vibes, it really feels like the Jason Robertson situation is the first piece of business or the main piece of business that Dallas is focused on here.
Okay. One last one. You look at it's been a crazy 12 days in the NHL with all 29 trades involving NHL players, which is wild. We just don't see it very often. It's actually great to see. Yeah. I'm sure. Hey, the players, you get compensated very well, and I'm sure it's a little disruption, but it's easier in the off season. You look at Dallas. You mentioned their contention window. They had that run of 3 consecutive final appearances in the Western Conference, were unable to get to the Stanley Cup. They were there in 2006. Jamie Benn seems like it's kind of his decision if he wants to come back or not. But do you see any other potential moves for Dallas here? Or is Robertson and Bork enough that, there's probably nothing else, a real need? Or is there a need that they would like to scratch in free agency?
So they are going to have some difficulty making some moves. And first of all, Jim Nill has said he's not blowing the team up after losing in the first round last year. And for me, Dallas and Edmonton were done in the first round. Florida missed the playoffs, and those three teams had played more hockey than any other teams over the last, I think, 3 or 4 seasons between regular season and playoffs. That's not a coincidence to me. So a long summer, a short playoff run, maybe a good thing in the long run for the Stars specifically. But they already have 7 or 8 defensemen under contract. They already have most of their forward core under contract. I think everybody expects Jamie Benn to return for another year, and Jim Nill has said as long as he's the GM, Jamie Benn's going to be the captain of this team. Like, it's entirely Jamie's decision. There are a couple of contracts in their bottom 6 and in their bottom pair that if they needed to move, they don't have no movement clauses attached to it. So there's a little bit of flexibility in the bottom 6 or a bottom pair if they wanted to try and do something. But this is primarily going to be, can you get Robertson and Bork back in the fold? If you can't, then obviously you have some room to try and do something to fill that void. But everything else.
I think we lost Brett.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
You
No, you're back. Yeah, no, you just cut out there for a second.
Yeah. Woo! All right. The Texas heat is clearly getting to the cell towers because it's 100 down here today, folks. Look, a lot of stuff is going to be in the margins or periphery. It's get Roberts.
Yeah, there you go. So the heat, man, 100. Thankfully, we don't have that. So imagine that. It's so hot that your cell tower starts to have bad reception. That's something we really haven't had to deal with in Edmonton ever. I know there's certain places where you can have a shoddy service. I don't think we've ever had somebody say, you know what, man, it's too hot here. So the cell phone towers are acting up. Even when it's cold, it's never been that cold. I've never not had cell service due to the cold. So another advantage, right? No state tax, no schmate tax. Should be a heat tax. You never know. Take a quick break. We'll return. We got head coach Mark Kilam coming up at 3:20. But first, let's get to Declan Kruger in a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, vans, trucks, SUVs, you name it. They got it all at goauto.ca. Over 15,000 to choose from. Find your ride today.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers have issued qualifying offers to defenseman Spencer Stachny as well as forwards Colton Dock, Roby Arventi, and Owen Michaels. Florida Panthers acquiring the rights to Radko Gudas in exchange for the rights to AJ Greer. Troy Stetcher staying with the Toronto Maple Leafs on a 2-year extension with a $1.35 million AAV, while Matthias Michelli, no qualifying offer, and will become a UFA. Toronto Blue Jays shutting down Addison Barger following a back injury. And a breaking news out of the NBA world is the Memphis Grizzlies have traded star guard John Morant, the Portland Trail Blazers, for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. In the FIFA World Cup today was Brazil over Japan 2-1, scoring their game-winning goal in the 96th minute. Germany and Paraguay currently tied 0-0 in the 35th minute. And in the MLB, the Blue Jays will be in action as they play host to the Mets at 5:07. You can hear that one following the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 AM dial only. Trey Savage on the mound for the Jays. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs.
I brought the sunscreen.
I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now.
Save 55% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week. Only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in store for details.
They don't have that.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
For decades, the pioneer spirit of Alberta has been exemplified in the chuck wagon racing legacy of the Dorchester family. And today, you can experience it every time you hit the links. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is in top mid-season form. Enjoy the longer days on this historic 18-hole course near Pigeon Lake. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
We just dropped a massive payload at Nisku 4. It's time to unload some deals at the Truckload of Savings event. If you've been waiting to upgrade, we've backed up the savings with unbeatable offers on our toughest Fords. Right now, haul away exactly what you need and take advantage of massive price drops across our entire lineup, including the legendary Ford F-150 for the job site or the weekend getaway. Shop the Truckload of Savings at niskuford.ca. Nisku Ford, above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more, backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Monday afternoon. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McClellan. Monday afternoon, of course, a few days left. We got Canada Day on Wednesday, free agency. We will have coverage here starting at 10 a.m. with Low Tide. Josh Fenwick and the gang will be running things on Wednesday, courtesy of Booster Juice. We will have lots more coverage tomorrow. Of course, World Cup Canada has moved into the next round, the round of 16. They're the first team through with their 1-0 victory yesterday. They will take on the winner of the Netherlands and Morocco. So if you want to do a little advanced scouting tonight, that game starts at 7 p.m. And if you go to playalberta.ca, check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials. We have a few for the Jays tonight. Also on that Morocco-Netherlands game, who do you like to win that one? As well as a little trifecta for tomorrow on Norway, France, and Mexico, all to win. So we'll see what goes on there. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. We got Mark Kilam, the head coach of the undefeated Edmonton Elks joining us. We do have the deadline should be right now for NHL teams and qualifying offers. And I haven't seen any big names yet or anybody that's kind of a surprise who hasn't been qualified. I guess maybe the top one that I know for sure thus far has been Michelli out of Toronto. He would have needed to be qualified at around $3.4 million. He wasn't. And so he is now unrestricted free agent. There are some rumblings that Toronto was looking to sign him. They just didn't want to qualify him at that cap hit. Makes sense. For some of you, had a lot of people wondering what's Robertson. His qualifying offer is $9.3 million, which is an easy one for Dallas. And be like, hey, why don't you just sign that for a year and then we'll figure it out. But something tells me that's not going to happen at all for him. So the orders, Colton Dock, Spencer Stastny, those guys were qualified. Two guys, Bloom and Matvei Petrov, were not qualified. Robbie Arventi, who's signed in Europe already, the orders qualify him, so they retain his rights. And they also qualify Owen Michael, the guy they signed out of college at the end of last year. So no real surprises there. I thought they'd qualify them all. When it comes to Stastny, he's just a depth guy. You need depth. Can he fill in and be a depth player for you? For sure. Is he somebody I think who's going to play when you're in the playoffs? Unlikely, right? He gets into the regular season games when you have some injuries or maybe when somebody misses 10, 12 games. I could see that. I think Edmonton could still be looking for an upgrade on their third pair on the left side and have Stastny as your number 7 defenseman. I could easily see that. He doesn't he doesn't have a big ticket by any stretch of the imagination, right? So that was not I don't think it was a really hard decision to qualify him, right? He only had to be qualified at $866,000. So it's kind of a no-brainer to qualify him, right? And then we'll kind of see where it goes with free agency and everything else. Hey guys, what do you think of the Canucks' decision to draft the coach's son? Well, it's not unheard of. We've seen, as recently as Lowry in Winnipeg. Now, Dave wasn't there very long, but his son played. Now, his son was an established NHL player, a little bit different, right? You go back to Deneen when Kevin played under his dad. That's happened. Others before that. So there has been a precedent of it happening. I think maybe it's a little odd that you have a rookie head coach and then it's the number 3 overall pick. Now, if his son makes the team this year, then I might be like, now you might be pushing it a little bit. So, I don't, I think there's potential for it to go sideways, but everything I've heard about the Malholtras is, the dad's not going to coach his kid. Like, it's at the NHL. You can't be like the dad who coaches at U11 where everybody's like, why are you favoring your kid? But lots of coaches don't. Let me make that clear. I think there's lots of minor hockey coaches that coach their son. It's really not an issue. But it's minor hockey. It's not professional. It's not your job. But if you do it right, then there's less chance of there being, confusion. I do think at the younger levels, like U9 and U11 kids probably aren't talking about their coach. Maybe they are, but I don't know if it's you've got parents around, they might be talking about the coach, nothing else. Now, Malholtra was right around there. So, he wasn't like heads and shoulders better than the other players, but obviously Vancouver liked him. So they know the family. They probably got a pretty good sense of character and everything like that. And they obviously felt like he was a player who wouldn't be deterred by having the potential of his dad as his head coach. So a little odd, yes, but doesn't mean it's wrong just because it's different, right? I think that's kind of where it goes. Now, here's an interesting one. Paul Cotter from the New Jersey Devils has not received a qualifying offer. So that Paul Cotter is a legit player. Now, you know what? If I'm Paul Cotter, I might be thinking this isn't a bad situation to be in. Right? His qualifying offer, like, what am I missing? It was only going to be like $850K. Wow. Now, you know what? He scored 9 goals last year, 15 points. He's not big-time player or anything, but I think he's an NHL player. So, like, he's played the last 4 years in the league. So that is an interesting one to me, just because it's not due to a big salary. Right? That's a little surprising to me, anyway. Right? He's been an NHL player for the last 4 years. He's only making $850, but obviously they don't think he's the answer there. Someone's going to sign him, but we'll see. Joe Veleno in Montreal, also another guy who did not receive a qualifying offer, and he will test the free agent market now as well. So the free agent pool at the bottom end definitely gets a few more players involved. Let's take a quick break so we get back on track, and we're going to hear from head coach Mark Kilam from the undefeated Edmonton Elks. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. One quick one here on the orders. Hey, Greg's with the qualifying offers, where's the Oilers salary cap? Well, the Oilers salary cap, because first of all, because it's a qualifying offer, the player hasn't signed it, so it's not official yet. All right. But if you look at where the Oilers are cap-wise right now, they have 18 forwards signed, 18 players. Forwards, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Dickinson, Frederick, Podkolzin, Janmark, Szymanski, Howard, and Savoy. 6 D-men and Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Ekholm, Murphy, and Emberson, and Jari in goal. So that's 18 skaters, and that leaves them about $7.15 million. So Spencer Stastny, if he signs his qualifying offer, like he's $866K. Colton Dock, I'd be surprised if he signed his qualifying offer. I think they'll probably come to an agreement on a 2-year deal. He doesn't have arb rights or anything, so it's, he doesn't have a ton of negotiating power here. So let's say they sign those two at a combined 1.9. Let's just say that for a round number, right? Now you're down to $5.25 million, and you would have a goalie to sign and another forward to sign, maybe 2 forwards. So they have cap space. Now, if you move Darnell Nurse, I do believe they're going to bring a player back, but they also how much is his cap hit going to be? Like, they're not just trading away Nurse and bringing back prospects. They want a legit player back, and he's obviously going to have some salary here. So we'll see where it goes. But the Oilers, they're not going to go big game hunting. First of all, there's not many big games to hunt in free agency. But they've got about $5 million, give or take, to play around with in free agency to sign a goalie and another forward or 2, and maybe even another defenseman, depending on what happens. So that's where they're at. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. Mark Kilam's next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of nutrition school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Hearing on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place in Ice District.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and 5 years ago, a lot of people bought their first RV. Not because they were really into the RVing, but because camping was literally the only thing you could do with your vacation time. You couldn't go on a cruise, travel was a nightmare. So you bought an RV and you enjoyed it. But now you have all your options back again. And that RV you bought during COVID might be sitting around costing you money.
An RV needs love, care, and attention whether you use it or not, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. It's okay to declare it was the right solution for the time, but those times have changed. And you might find that an RV doesn't fit your plans anymore. And that's okay, because we can sell it for you. Pass it along to a family that would choose camping over anything else available in the world today. So bring it to Noble RV. Together, we'll celebrate what it did for you when you needed it and what it can do for you now that it's time to move on.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, Dak, can you hear me? 325. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. Got Mac running all that over there. Give her a thumbs up. Subscribe. Say hello. It's awesome. Other news, few other names coming down. No big ones really, but some depth guys not being qualified for other teams around the NHL. Guys like Beecher in Calgary. Who else has been a guy who's been in the NHL? No one really is as a regular that I can see here as teams are starting to submit their lists publicly online. So it's what happens. You're going to have some guys. It's just kind of like, some of these guys would be put on waivers during the season and the vast majority don't get picked, but then there's 1 or 2 or 3 and they get claimed and then they go to another team and they play awesome. So we'll see. Could be one man's garbage is another man's treasure. Isn't that what they say? So there you go. We're hoping to connect with Mark Kilam here, and we'll see where that goes here in a few moments. The head coach of the undefeated Edmonton Elks, which leads me to the question, and we got a few texts because I asked it earlier, and I'm curious on your renewed interest / confidence, belief in the Elks since Chris Morris and Ed Hervey took over the team. And, last year, obviously, was better anywhere. They still didn't make the playoffs, but they won 7 games. Now they've won 3 to start this season. So if you look at it, they're what are they? Last year, they were 7-11 in their 18 games. So now they're 10-11, almost a 500 team under Hervey and Morris. And really, if you look at Ed Hervey's record, in the 4 years he was a GM, and now I guess it's 5 and 3 games. And then you compare it to from 2006 before he was there and then after he left, like it's not even close. And, one significant wrong decision for some organizations can just set things back significantly. And there's no better example than that for them. Now, has Ed changed and evolved since he left? 100%. So, there's always some pros to it. But when it comes down to just the sheer building of a team, he talked about it. I want to make my D-line better. I want to make the O-line better. Now, you can't just snap your fingers in one offseason and do it. But in his second offseason, he improved the offensive line. Their defense, same secondary, same linebacking core. Then they went out and got Carney, a legit difference maker on the D-line. And we saw it against Winnipeg. They got pressure from a lot of different places now. Because when you have a guy like Carney and lots of teams are going to try to double team him, well, that just opens up more opportunities for your other guys in the D-line. And that allows them to be more impactful and effective. So that's obviously a good problem for sure. So we'll see what else is going on. We're just trying to connect with Mark, talking to Mike there from the Elks. So we'll see. You might just call him Declan. That might be the better way to go. So we'll see. Hey, boys, everybody loves a winning team. Just ask the Jays. Well, yeah, it's true. Right now, the Jays won, and it's a pretty big market, and they went all the way to the final. And even though they didn't win it, you look at the seats this year, and the team is not nearly as effective right now. They started the season like last year, but they have yet to turn it on at all. Right now they can't get good pitching. They can't get timely hitting, and they're 5 games under 500. And if you look at the wild card race, suddenly they're 2.5 back, and they've got to jump over 4 teams. So you're starting to get to a point where it becomes a problem, because not only is it, well, we've got to win games, but now we have to win games and not just catch 1 team or 2 teams. You'd have to pass the Twins, the Athletics, the Astros, and the Mariners. So it's 4 teams that they would have to catch and pass. So that is that becomes more of an issue. I know they've only played 84 games, so there's still lots of time left, but they're into the second half of the season, and really the biggest problem for them is that Vladdy Guerrero has shown really no signs of getting better, like none. I don't know if I've seen a player who has as much power as he does at the plate hit as many soft dribblers as he does right now. Like, look at how many times he just has a little 6 bouncer to the second baseman, the shortstop, or the third baseman. Like, it's not even hard. It's just like a little whiff. And you're just like, oh my God. It's odd that somebody can hit the ball that hard and literally can't do it right now. So it's mind-blowing to me. And it shows you what confidence can do for players, good and bad. Because it's clear he doesn't have much confidence. You watch him in the dugout. Like, this guy's normally Mr. Smiley, Mr. Excited. You're seeing none of it. Absolutely none of it. Anyway, we'll wait for Kilam. Let's get to our stats of the day now. Brought to you by All-Star Construction, founded in 2009, and continue to grow, and they are hiring. So if you are looking just to start your career, because they are looking for laborers for sure, but also looking for gas pipe technicians, hydrovac operators, backhoe operators, and more. Check it out at All-Star Construction. So some stats of the day for you. First of all, NHL draft picks over the weekend. Okay, now we have them. Okay, good. Well, we'll switch. I love it. We're going to call an audible. Perfect. Now we do have the head coach of the only undefeated team in the CFL, Mark Kilam from the Edmonton Elks. And coach, you go on the road again in a tough place, and man, you really dominated early in that game. Give me your thoughts on how satisfied is it as a coach when your team comes out and really plays early on to the game plan that you've devised as a coach?
I think it's rewarding to feel like your process, you're seeing results from the process that you're putting in. I think that's the rewarding part. I think, as coaches, we're always looking for the things that we can get better at. But, certainly I was proud of the guys because we were on a 5-day week, which is tough. Like everyone has short weeks, so it's nothing new. But 5 days are tough on the road. Everyone knows Winnipeg, very, very difficult place to play. I was pleased that, we prepared the right way to give ourselves a chance, and we came out firing in that game.
I know that you have to prepare for every situation, but I'm sure you'd like to see how your team can fare when it's not pouring rain and everybody's soaked. Because it's just different. Like I talked to Cody, he's like, there's just certain balls you can't throw. So your team came out, it was good weather, and your defense, I'll start there and we'll get to the offense, but your defense easily had the most consistent pressure mark all day long from lots of different guys. It wasn't just one guys. It was collectively as a group. You got some sacks, you got some turnovers. Your secondary is obviously more experienced, but just what did you see now because you had like a normal condition that gives you pause to say, man, this is kind of what we expected from our D-line specifically?
Yeah, we had challenged the D-line early in that week to really kind of set the tone for the football team, and they responded. And it wasn't just one guy; it was multiple players showing up. Getting Zach off a spot, having pocket control. Obviously, with our run fits against Brady, and Winnipeg. They got a massive O-line, and they're built to grind you down. And we knew the game was going to start up there, and so we challenged them. We kind of put it on them, and they met it. They met that challenge. Right out of the gate, they met that challenge, and that hit that Jordan Williams had was big time. And it just kind of when players make plays like that,
yeah,
your whole football team kind of elevates, and I think you could feel that on the sideline.
Well, Mark, you're naturally an emotional guy, and I think that's one of the things your players I think gravitate towards. But when you have a player like that, because those type of big hits, they don't happen that often. But it's almost like scoring a home run or a big goal. Like, do you feel that on the sidelines, just the emotion, the intensity? Like, I would assume just it automatically elevates everyone, especially on the defense. You kind of have to have a little bit of a hunter mentality.
No doubt. And and then you put in a 90-yard run on a forced fumble with a pitch that gets everybody geeked up. Like those guys, those are plays that they're game-changing plays. That's what they are. And as critical as we were, we wanted to score on that, and we probably should have scored, but
yeah.
It's those kind of plays. We want to be a team that creates explosive plays. Everyone always thinks that's offensive and special teams, but that's definitely one of those that fits into that category as a game-changing play.
Now, you mentioned as a coach, you're always looking for things to improve. And I would think if you look at the first half, you'd say, okay, guys, we're in the 5-yard line here. Our defense just had a great big hit. We had the lateral. Everybody's awake. Boom, we got to score this. And unfortunately, you don't. And then later on, you did gamble on third down, and it was the right call. If he doesn't bobble the ball, he's in the end zone, and it's going to be a touchdown. So, that's one where it's probably just a little bit of an execution. But where did you look at your offense? Because you came out, you scored, probably could have scored more, and then you had a little bit of a sag in the third quarter. What did you love from your offense, and what are the areas that you're going to try to, eliminate those longer stretches of ineffectiveness offensively?
Yeah, I loved the way they started the game. I mean, if you remember, like we took a penalty on special teams and we started them on the 10-yard line. And then we took the second drive or the third drive, we did the same thing and started them on the 5, something like that. And so we had 2 over 100-yard drives. Both should have ended in scores. One of them did. One of them, like you said, was ruled down on the 1. But that's big time. I mean, that's big time. That's hard to do. We talk about, we really challenged the offense last week for other guys to kind of step up and make plays because, we know how good Rank's been for us, but every other team in the league knows that as well. So it's important for other players to create when they have opportunities. And guys like Keon Julian Grant had probably his best game of the year. TJ Luther's been getting better every single week and has been making impact plays every week. And Josh Cephas is a guy who's big body, strong hands, who was kind of behind the 8 ball because he was a late addition to our training camp roster. And then, so he didn't have like the off-season meetings. He had to try to figure it out in camp, which is difficult, and has, steadily grown every week that he's played as well. So those guys all made plays on offense. So that was definitely a plus. I think, our offense wants to go for it inside the 10-yard line anyways. And, we kicked the short field goal the first time. We didn't want to do it the second time. And, we're going to continue to have each other's backs that way, succeed or failure down there. So that's what we're going to do.
Mark Kilam joins us, head coach of the Edmonton Elks. And Mark, you've been around the league a long time. And last year, you and I talked, you had lots of growth as a head coach, and you feel like you're just more prepared this season and the coaching staff. And we're seeing that. And, your team started slow last year, and then you got off, we're pretty competitive, I think, for the final 12, 13 weeks of the season. Now you've had a good start. And now the challenge is, like, as a coach, how can you challenge your players differently? Like, when you see the mindset and there's probably way more belief in the room naturally, how do you as a coach then tap into that belief and say, okay, now I got to push them even higher?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing it does is it validates, your formula for winning, and you feel like your process, your winning process, or however you want to phrase that, of how you go about preparing yourself to play every week. And I think it's really emphasizing the urgency in that every week, because every game is its own entity. Like, we don't ever talk about 3-0 or anything. Like, I never say that. That's not what we talk about. We talk about what do we need to do to go 1-0 this week, and what does that look like? And then we try to focus on that. And then we try to take, okay, so we had an extra day of practice today. Let's focus on the things that we need to get better at. And here's examples in all 3 sides of the ball. So we're trying to, constantly, keep the momentum going and build on those positive things, but really watching film with a critical eye and challenging ourselves, because we have high standards and high expectations in this building of where we want to go.
What was your evaluation of your offensive line in good conditions? They've been pretty good, I thought, in the rain, but man, I thought they were just as solid. Like, Cody Fajardo he's barely been hit early on this year. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it, but man, it's been night and day, Mark, for just the protection you're getting from your offensive line.
There's no doubt. I mean, you just said it. I mean, he's got pockets to throw from, and he believes that he has pockets to throw from, that's why I think you saw him in this game. I thought it was his best game as well. Obviously, conditions definitely played a part of that, but you saw him stepping up, ripping the ball. I mean, he was, he's really hitting those intermediate zones and firing the ball in there with authority. And, that's him having confidence in the protection in front of him. But it's definitely a credit to the O-line. I mean, they've been doing a great job. Even with, when we lost Woody, Cam stepped in there right away, and he's gotten better from his first game to his second game. And I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see those guys gelling. Beardo's doing a good job on the inside, and run game, protection in the pass game. Those guys are doing a nice job.
So now you look ahead to the BC Lions, and you mentioned, hey, what can we do this week? The BC Lions early on have been susceptible to giving up points, Mark. So when you devise a game plan, now you've got 3 weeks of film on a team. Can you find you can dig in more because your team's confident, they like the plays they call, but also you can see how a team's been getting exploited through 3 weeks?
Yeah, you definitely look at, what other teams have had success with, but they're also looking at that as well and trying to shore those areas up. But that's part of the art of game planning. You kind of go back, both those, if you just take their offense and defensive coordinators, have been around the league for a long time, and things that they like to do or ways that they've played you in the past. And I think you learn from those experiences, or good and bad. So I think, that you take all that data into play, and then you kind of pair it with what your team looks like right now and where your weapons are, and, the guys that you're trying to get plays. And, from us playing against BC, I mean, that was a team that put it on us really in every game we played last year against them. All our other games were close in some of our other losses, but not against BC. So, they're a team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year. You got all those storylines that you want there, but we know we need to play good football, play team football if we want to win this week.
Mark, I know lots of people have different ways to prepare for games as individuals and as coaches. And, some guys are listening to music, some guys are doing whatever, some guys want to be super focused on it. Canada is in a game that starts, I think, 6 hours before you guys play on Saturday. They're either going to play the Netherlands or them. And I know athletes, even if you're not a diehard soccer fan, most people like to watch other sports. Do you encourage guys to watch that? Because it's like, hey, because you can't focus intently for 6 hours. What's your thought process? Do guys watch other events? Where do you come out as a coach, or is it all on each individual player and what they want to do together?
Yeah, I treat them like men. I mean, we're professionals in this building. I mean, if they want to check in, they can check in, but, full expectation is that they're focused on our task at hand. And, I didn't even know they were playing. So you just told me that, but, I'm focused on the task at hand as well. But I was actually in a meeting. That's why I was late. Sorry, jumping on here with this confusion. I don't know. But, if they want to check in, then that's great. We're supporting the things. But, we all got a job to do. And that's always our number one focus.
So can you take me through a game day? It starts at 5:00 in BC, or 5:00 Edmonton time on Saturday. How early do you get to the stadium, Mark, as a head coach? Tell us, our listeners, kind of what's a game day look like when it starts at 5:00 for you?
Yeah, so that's an earlier game, start early-ish. So, the guys will wake up. Usually on the road, we have, for a typical night game, we'd have meetings and or walkthrough at the hotel on game day. And we lead that right into, there's a chapel if the guys want to go to that, but there's also, then it goes into pregame meal. And then we have 2 buses that usually run to the stadium, and they're kind of staggered. Some guys like to go really early. I'm always on the early bus. I like to be there. And then some guys come late. It's about 30 minutes later that second bus leaves. And then it's we have a game day schedule that we do, like a certain kind of ritual, which gives the players time to kind of do their own thing and prepare their bodies. And then we always start with specialists warming up first. So that's kicker, punter, long snappers, holders. And then the returners come out for the back part of that. Then we go into pat and go as our warm up. And then the rest of the team comes out for full team warm up. And we do kind of the, 5-minute periods of, Indy, Skelly, and team, kick a PAT, and then we're back in. So that's kind of the game day and our game day warm up. It's the same process always. It just depends on what time the game starts at for how much time you have in the day.
And your pregame speech, it's not always like the movies and everyone's rah-rah every time, but you're an emotional guy. Do you kind of plan what you say, or is it always off the cuff right when you get in there? And okay, fellas, here we are. How are you?
I try to plan the pregame ones. I do not plan any of the postgame shenanigans that happen in there. I think that's bad karma. But so that's why some of those videos postgame, I mean, I don't know, half the time I just black out. But it's just raw emotion, especially after a win in there. But, pregame, I just try to give them some focus points. It's professional football. They shouldn't need, something from their coach to be ready to go. But like you said, I am an emotional person. I do, I'm an all-in human being. So, some of the stuff I say is pretty competitive, pretty edgy at the start of the game. But that's just, it's different every week. It's not super long because, one, it just feels weird when it goes really long pregame. But, I just try to give them some things to focus on, some things that we had talked about usually during the week and what we need to do, and then the players do the rest.
Mark Kilam joins us, head coach of the 3-0 Edmonton Elks. They're in BC on Saturday. And Mark, you've had now 3 weeks with Rick Campbell. kind of, helping out with, an extra eye in the sky as a coach. Wasn't there last year. How has he helped your coaching unit so far this season? What's been different or better with him helping you guys out?
Yeah, I think, like I said right before the season, I think it's just net positive having him in here. I mean, he's just, he's a CFL lifer who's literally been in this league his whole life. So, seen and heard and done a lot of things at all levels, all sides of the ball. He's been doing his advanced scouting for the offense, which has been great. Him and I do, a situational glance at the league. It's usually today or tomorrow for all the games that happened. And we just look at all the critical decisions and just talk about them. And, on game day, he's just another steady voice up in the box. He's just anticipating what's coming up and that kind of thing. And like I said, it's just net positive. He's helping all sides of the ball. He's helping Des with special teams. He's done some of that as well. So, happy he's on our staff and, pleased with what he's brought to the organization.
And lastly, Mark, when you challenge a play and it doesn't go your way, do you get a longer explanation from the league afterwards?
Yeah, well, I've only challenged. I only think I've thrown it once this year, haven't I? I threw it on the catch, fumble, immediate recovery. I thought it was worth it on that one.
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes, I'm always trying to in the sideline official's ear to ask if the upstairs is looking at it to see if I need to challenge or not. Sometimes we've got to wait for the guys in the booth to see it. And it, depending on stadium, that can take a while. You think it's instant, but it's not. So we're waiting and we only have that window where we can get it in. But, I try to keep my communication with the league positive and not very much because I don't want to be somebody that's bitching and complaining all the time. I don't think that's helpful. At the same time, I don't want to be super long-winded with my stuff. If there's a problem, I ask, I call. I usually get an explanation whether I like it or not. But, I'm just trying to focus on, we want to play clean football here. We want to coach to the standards that are being enforced. And we want, the league to look good while we're doing it. So kind of falls into that spectrum if you want to phrase it that way.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Well, Mark, great start to the season. Continued success. We'll see you down in practice this week. Enjoy it. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Gotcha. There's Mark Kilam, the head coach of the undefeated 3-0 Edmonton Elks. They'll be in BC on Saturday. That's shaping up for a great day for sports fans, man. You got Canada at 11 a.m. our time. We don't know who they're taking on yet. It's either going to be the Netherlands or Morocco. And then you got the Elks and the BC Lions coming in at a 5:00 start on Saturday. So that is 5:00 Edmonton time. So it's perfect. Another weekend where there's one game a day: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll catch things up. We'll get to the stats of the day when we return. It's the Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Rangeroni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it.
Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Experience the home ice advantage with your window coverings. Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and fast turnaround on roller, zebra, blackout, drapery, and motorized blinds. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. Because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out-of-home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the puck drop special at Papa John's, a large 2-topping pizza and 8 wings for only $28.99 with promo code PUCKDROP at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Over at YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. We got Mac running the show, so be sure to say hi, give her a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It's always good. It's always great. We very much appreciate it. The Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And we got loads and loads of texts coming in. Guys, I have to admit, I am much more interested and excited in the Elks. Looking forward to getting out to the game. We were supposed to go to the first one, but decided not to in the pouring rain. And that's fair. I know people that had season tickets who opted out. Obviously, the walk-up was going to be hard in that game. And the Elks' next home game is next Thursday when they take on Ottawa. And they're either going to be 4-0 or 3-1. So either way, they're going to have a really good record, an opportunity to beat an Ottawa team that is winless thus far. Although Ottawa's looking better. Man, they almost came back and won that game against Montreal yesterday. That turned out to be a really good game, man. Really good game. So I liked it. Now let's get to it. We talked about it earlier. Let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction and NFL draft over the weekend. NHL draft, over the weekend. Canadians, if you look at it, in the first round, there was 10 Canadian picks, 5 in the first 9 picks. Second and third round had 9, as did the fourth. Fifth round had 15. Sixth and seventh had 8 players. The WHL had 37 players drafted. Edmonton, Vancouver, Portland, and Prince Albert each had 3 picks. Medicine Hat had 4. Now, there's also some players that would have played in the dub that obviously have left early. Now, I will say, I know maybe it's just me, but you see Denver University tweeting out, "Oh, congratulate, Daxon Rudolph." Well, he hasn't played a game for your program, and you're claiming that he's I get it because he's there now, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's a little bit odd. Wasn't in your program. As far as a draft pick, he is coming to your program, but it wasn't in it. But I don't know. That just felt a little odd to me. It's something that we're going to see a lot of, I would think, moving forward. To the CFL, as mentioned, Justin Rankin had 109 yards rushing. He became the first player in Edmonton franchise history with 3 straight 100-plus yard rushing games to start the season. They've never had that. All the great running backs over the years, no one's ever rushed 100 yards for the first 3 games of the season. The last CFL player to do it was Corey Sheets, and he had 6 consecutive games of 100-plus yards to start the season. He finished that year with 1,598 rushing yards. Rankin has 387 rushing yards through the first 8 games. Obviously, he's well on pace to get to 1,000 rushing yards. That's kind of a no-brainer, I think, at this point. But you look at it on the season, he's still on pace for 2,300 rushing yards, which would be a CFL record. There's a long ways to go. He's still on pace to shatter the yards from scrimmage record, and still on pace to be the first player ever to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. Another storyline, I don't know if you watched it over the weekend or not, but Janarian Grant had a 68-yard punt return touchdown. It's the 11th of his career, which moves him into a tie for second place all-time with Earl Winfield. I don't know, Deck, did you remember Earl Winfield at all?
Hate to be that guy, but can't say I really do.
A little before your time? Okay. And so you don't really remember the Giz then either, do you?
No, obviously through highlights and stuff like that, but it was my area for returners was Bashir Livingston, if you remember him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know Livingston. Yeah, he was great. But yeah, Earl Winfield, number 1 in Hamilton. He was a hell of a return guy. Great receiver, too. So he's second place all time with 11. And Janarian Grant's tied for second. Very quietly, I don't think a lot of people talk about how good Janarian Grant is. The only guy better in CFL history, Gizmo Williams. Now, he has 26. Long ways to go. But don't sleep on Janarian Grant. If you're a fan of the league and you're a fan of returns, you might want to watch that as well. Now, to the World Cup. Hey, I understand there's pressure on some of these big countries. You want to have success at the World Cup, but I don't know if this is normal or not. But so of the top 20 ranked teams in the world, the only team that didn't make it through to the round of 32, Uruguay. And they lost their final game 1-0 to Spain, which allowed Cape Verde to advance. And they were not happy about it. The AUF, Uruguay Soccer Federation, this seems a little petty to me, but they canceled the charter flight that was set to take players from their base camp in Mexico back to their capital city of Montevideo. Instead, the players had to take commercial flights either home or to vacations with their family. So, ouch! They were a little perturbed at that. So the only top 20 nation not to move on to the elimination round. As talking about all week long World Cup, we had Brazil beat Japan, so Japan's gone home now. Same with South Africa. You got Germany and Paraguay going on right now, Netherlands and Morocco. Then tomorrow, Ivory Coast and Norway, France and Sweden, Mexico and Ecuador. Wednesday, England versus Congo, Belgium, Senegal, USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Thursday, Spain, Austria, Portugal, Croatia. It should be a hell of a match. Switzerland and Algeria. Then on Friday, Australia versus Egypt, Argentina versus Cape Verde, and Colombia versus Ghana. And now, Deck, I'm going to get your thoughts on this one because I just don't understand it. You've been an organization that hasn't gone anywhere for a long time. You finally have a decent season. And then you decide, you know what? We're just going to trade away all our good players. What the hell are the Charlotte Hornets doing? So they traded away their cornerstone LaMelo Ball. And then they dealt Miles Bridges and a second-round pick to the Suns for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a future first-rounder. So 2 of Charlotte's top 4 scorers are gone months after a promising 44-win campaign. Make it make sense.
Yeah, this isn't even one there's like a yeah, but this for. Like it makes no, they have been such a poor run organization. Like one of they've been the poster children for being a poor run organization. And this is just more evidence of that. Like I don't even know what the plan here is. Is the plan to build around Con Knippel and Brandon Miller a shooter and a perimeter defense, like 2 guys who need players to create for them, which you had in LaMelo Ball, by the way? Like it's just they finally had some semblance of okay, things are coming together and there's chemistry here with this young core and they can do it. And we saw their win streak and it obviously took them to the plan. And then this, like it's not even one I can sit here and quibble about or give a yeah, but there's that. Like it just makes no sense. They have been one of the worst run organizations, not just in basketball but in sports, and this really puts the nail in the coffin of them just being like an absolute like if Oilers fans thought we had an incompetent front office, like if that's your I challenge you to be a fan of the Charlotte Hornets because this is next level.
Yeah, it made like I just don't understand it. Like at all. I'm like,
no,
you can't tell me they're even trying to rebuild here. Like what? These guys are under contract for a few years. Like it's mind blowing.
They've started to rebuild in the middle of a rebuild that actually finally for the first time in decades looked like it was starting to work. Like it makes no sense. Yeah. No sense.
Okay, good. I thought I was missing something. I'm like, hey, you're there. You and Josh follow the NBA more than I do. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? This is how you remain a losing franchise. It's that simple. Oh, we finally got some good players. You know what? We're too good. It's honestly, it's like that's their message. Sorry, guys, we're too good. Like, why would anybody want to be a Charlotte Hornets season ticket holder? Unless you're just like, you know what? I am a sucker for punishment. I just want our team to be below average all the time. Because otherwise, I don't get why anybody would want to continue rooting for that team. Like it would be very hard to root for that team the way they're going right now. We'll return. We're going to talk lots more. We got a lot of questions on the Oilers. We'll get to those. Of course, we're a few days away from free agency. Now, the Oilers could surprise us. I think they've got some pieces. Obviously, they need another goalie. Now, maybe it's Connor Ingram before free agency, or maybe right after free agency starts, like Brett Kulak 4 years ago. Or they're going to go in a different direction. But we know 1,000% they need another NHL goalie. Connor Unger is not going to be their backup in Edmonton this year. Right? He's got 14 AHL games. I don't see that being the angle they're going to go down. So we'll talk about the Oilers and more after a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC or furnace. Bundle them together, saving more, legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Mr. Oilers news is they have issued qualifying offers to defenseman Spencer Stastny as well as forwards Colton Dach, Roby Arventi, and Owen Michaels. Panthers acquiring the rights to Radko Gudas in exchange for the rights to AJ Greer, and the Toronto Maple Leafs making moves as they have extended Troy Stetcher at a $1.35 million AAV for the next 2 years, while they have not given Matthias Maccelli his qualifying offer, and he will become a UFA. Breaking NBA trade coming down earlier. John Morant being traded to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray, and Lou Dort picking up his $17.7 million team option with the Oklahoma City Thunder. FIFA World Cup from earlier today was Brazil over Japan 2-1. Germany and Paraguay currently tied 1-1 in the 77th minute. MLB will get going at 4:35. That's in about half an hour's time with the White Sox and the Orioles. The Mets and the Blue Jays, they'll play at 5:07 in Toronto. Trey Savage on the bump, and you can listen to that one at Sports 1440 AM following the conclusion of the show. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
I'm good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say,
I'm good to go.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show
Pro
with
sports,
guest host
local
Connor
sports,
Halley.
minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
just after 4 o'clock. How you doing? Halfway through the show, we're getting closer. Collins, Deck, what's the update in the World Cup game?
It is 1-1 here in the 77th minute between Germany and Paraguay. Germany really pressing the action. Paraguay had the lead. Germany tied up the game, and they are really pushing for the leader now.
Yeah, like that would be a pretty massive upset if Paraguay somehow finds a way to win this game.
Yeah, like I helped my mom do a bracket, and it actually is due after this game. And I told her, listen, if Paraguay ends up winning this game, I can't help you. Just put whatever on there because I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm looking. You know what? Hope there's always going to be some upsets somewhere. That's the history of sport. Usually, I shouldn't say there's a guarantee, but usually you'd think there'd be some. And we'll see. Morocco, Netherlands, man, that's a tough one. Both are pretty damn good teams, and Canada is definitely going to be in tough either way. I'm not sure I can look and say, well, one's a better matchup than the other one per se for them. We'll see. Stylistically, I'm not sure if I see one where I say, oh, that gives a better chance. But if it's me, Kyle Laren's starting that game. I think he's a better pure finisher, and you're probably not going to get as many scoring chances as you had against South Africa, and they didn't bury them. So, see where it goes. Hey, Greg, so how do you think the Jays are going to receive Bo Bichette tonight? I think he's going to get a standing ovation. Why wouldn't he? The guy played great. Like, you know what? The Jays had an opportunity to sign him. They chose not to. He went, to the Mets. I don't think there'll be any ill will for Bo Bichette, especially right now. Like, Bo Bichette's not playing great in New York. The Jays aren't playing great without him. Like, sometimes, you know what? You look and say maybe the two sides would be better off staying together, because Bo Bichette in Toronto, the guy got you a lot of hits. A lot of doubles, lots of RBIs. And right now, they are missing it. Now, Ernie Clement's been good, but he doesn't hit as much, with as much pop as Bo Bichette does. So, I think he'll get a rousing ovation. No question. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Some other, let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Go Auto. Not only do they have 15,000 different vehicles for you to choose from, they also care about their community. They have donated over $27 million to various charities and the communities they live in. That is unbelievable at GoAuto.ca. So, some news on the Edmonton Oilers. Nothing really news on the Darnell Nurse front. As of Sunday, my understanding was his list was still Boston, Pittsburgh, and Philly. However, the San Jose Sharks, the Anaheim Ducks have both expressed interest. I mean, talking about it, but obviously, you know what? It would be up to Darnell Nurse to have to expand his list of teams. And part of my understanding is going out east, closer to both families for him and his wife. That makes some sense. But you know what? Maybe the allure of California, maybe that does it. I don't know. I wouldn't claim to know enough about Darnell's personal life, his family life, to think that how much of that issue would be. But hey, I get it. You know what? Doesn't matter who you are. Lots of grandparents like to be close to the kids and grandkids. I get it. So that's probably playing a factor in it. But that's kind of the update on that. As far as other things for the Oilers, some no surprises. They've qualified Doc Stastny, Robbie Yarventi, and Owen Michael. They didn't qualify Josh Bloom and Matvey Petrov. And so, Petrov's going to go back and play in Russia, and we'll see where Josh Bloom goes. The other thing for the Oilers, they have about right now $7.15 million in cap space, right? $7.415 million in cap space is what I should say. So when you look at Doc, he's going to sign for sure. I think Stashny's going to sign. His qualifying offer is only $866K. So he not saying he'll sign it, but he's not in any position really to demand a big increase. He's probably a number 7, I would think, on the Oilers when the season begins. Right now, he's definitely number 7 if they don't trade Nurse. And even if they trade Nurse, they still might look for another defenseman. I'm just not sold they want to go into the season with Stashny Emerson as their third pair defense. Right? Like there's really no identity there. What are they as a pair? I'm not sure that would be a great pair by any stretch of the imagination. So the Oilers do need to sign another goalie with Tristan Jarry. You know what? Maybe they bat it around more with Connor Ingram in his camp between now and 10 a.m. on Friday. And again, Brett Kulak went to free agency, ended up staying in Edmonton 4 years ago. Maybe Connor Ingram does the same thing. Maybe the number you think you can get isn't always out there. Right? Remember Vander Kane? Ken Hall's like, okay, you want to test the market? Good. Go test the market. And then what happened? He signed in Edmonton. Brett Kulak, same thing. Maybe it's the same for Connor Ingram. Now, all it takes is one team to like you enough to give you your ask. That's all it takes. And so I can understand completely, but the risk is the minute you open the door to free agency at 10 a.m., that means the Edmonton Oilers now, they can talk to other goalies too. And maybe they find one, and all of a sudden that offer that they had for you, well, now it's gone. Right? That's always the risk and the balance that heads into it. Kasperi Kapanen, my understanding is no surprise here, but going to test the market. I know the Oilers like him, and I think he likes it here, but there's also, when there's only so many opportunities, if Kapanen had a good season last year, he's 29 years of age. I think the Oilers would like to sign him for 2 to 2.2, but maybe someone's willing to give him 3. Like, look at what Beck Mallenstein just got. He got $3 million. Zach Ospachuk, St. Albert guy. Good for him. He got a 4-year deal at $2.35 million. He had 7 points in 59 games last year. Now, he's a bigger body, will fight. So he brings an element, but good for him. $2.35 million for the next 4 years. Right? It's great. It's great for him. Got over $10 million, man. It's life-altering. If you're smart with your money. It's life-altering for him. So, I won't be shocked if somebody offers Kapanen $3 million. Right? I look at Adam Henrique, Curtis Lazar, Jack Roslovich. I think they're all going to. I don't see any of them coming back. Max Jones, there's a slight chance he could remain in Edmonton, but I think Max Jones might look and say, and this is where it's the balance. Yeah, I could stay in Edmonton, but I'm like a number 12 or number 13 forward. Maybe I could go somewhere else and be like the number 10 forward, where I know I'm going to be in the roster every night. And if the money is going to be the same, and even if the team isn't as good, you still have more fun playing the game at the end of the day. So I could see Jones, a big body who skates, and consistency. It's not ability; it's more consistency that's being his issue. And last year, when he was in healthy, he was pretty consistent. Now the problem was he wasn't in the line. He wasn't in the lineup that much, right? So that's the challenge there. Hey, Greg, how many contracts do the Oilers have? Oh, they're not close to 50. I think they're at 36 right now. I'm pretty certain they're at 36. Now, if you say, Doc and Stashny and Michael, so that would put them at 39, right? Because those guys have been qualified. Robbie Yarventi won't count because he's in Europe. So they have more than enough space to go out and sign. Keep in mind, right? Like their contracts that they're going to fill out really will probably come to guys looking on two-way deals who they feel can be somebody that when you call them up, they can impact and play the game. And there's quite a few players like that. Like the gap between AHL guys and bottom six players in the NHL is pretty thin. It comes down to consistency, and a lot of times it comes down to simply opportunity. And you get an organization, a coach suddenly likes you. Now you're getting on the penalty kill. You're playing, instead of playing 8 minutes or 9, now you're playing 12 a night, and it's easier to contribute. And we've seen lots of guys do that, right? Like look at Paul Cotter, Joel Veleno. Like those guys have been NHL players. All of a sudden, they weren't qualified for low numbers, by the way. A little surprising to me. So there's some other bottom 6 guys that are available in the market. So there's lots of bodies for the Oilers. I think they've got a specific thing. Like, we know they need a goalie. That's Captain Obvious. They would like to sign another defenseman. Now, in the system, like Alex Regula's got 1 year left. He's a right shot defenseman. Riley Stillman, excuse me. He's another guy that they feel is probably close. Right? You've got Josh Brown, who's, hey, he's in the minors. His cap hit doesn't matter. Atro Lepinen. So they, Cam Dineen, I think, is going to walk away. But where Edmonton is, look for them to sign. They don't have a ton of forwards at the American League level right now. Right? You've got Bargemala, you've got James Steven, Connor Clattenburg, Brady Stonehouse, Quinn Hudson, Aku Ratti, William Nickel. That's it. Right? Samuel Poulin is going to UFA. So, James Hamlin, I think, is going to test the market, as he should. Like James, I think James is the guy who, in the right organization, can play in the NHL. And I could see why I might say, you know what? I'm looking for a different opportunity now. But the Oilers, I could see them on the first day of free agency signing 2 or 3 forwards that aren't necessarily going to be regular NHL guys, but guys that they feel can help call it. Because if I look at in the minors, like Aku Ratti, is he ready to be an NHLer? Quinn Hudson, maybe. Right? Connor Clattenburg is more of a fourth line guy. I know he's an energy player, but they want him to improve his skills a little bit more. I know you saw him for a few games. Everybody loved his energy because they had none. And so when he came in, it was noticeable. But Colton Dach's just got way more skill and plays with a similar style. So, Varejmala, I think, is a guy who's trending in the right direction. Hopefully got a little bit stronger this offseason. He'll come in and maybe he gets some games next year. Quinn Hudson, kind of a similar story. Like, when he got called up a second time, he didn't really do much. Right? I think, and I'm still not sold that he's going to be a regular NHL player. He might be, but I don't know if it would be in Edmonton. I could be wrong on that. I just don't know if he could or not. So, hey, Gregor, does the dressing room dislike Nurse? No, not at all, Brian. Not at all. Nurse is very popular amongst his teammates. He's the guy. He's been their DJ for a decade. Runs all the music. Vocal leader on the team. No, that's not the issue at all. I think Nurse feels like the organization, which came to him basically and said, "Hey, we'd like to trade you." He was like, "Okay, you know what? I'm out," and I can respect that. I understand it. You don't want to stay if you don't feel 100% wanted, and makes perfect sense. We'll return and we'll talk about history, wanting, and matchups. Which one's better? Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed. Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Hi, Edmonton. Fuel prices are climbing, and Subaru fights back with the all-new, all-electric 2026 Trail Seeker. With up to 444 kilometers of range, fast charging, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, the Trail Seeker is built to help you go further. And when summer adventure calls, it's ready with towing capacity of 1,587 kilograms. Test drive the all-new Trail Seeker. Visit your local Subaru dealership today and seek every trail. Welcome to Uncommon.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place in Ice District.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Alberta, we're wild and tough and beautiful. We agree that good enough isn't good enough. And though everything that matters starts with a home and a family. At Lux, our family has been handcrafting windows and doors for this incredible place for over half a century. There's no place we'd rather be. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Oh, Canada. I'm Luke, owner of Catch of the Week, and not only is Catch of the Week a Canadian company, we have tons and tons of Canadian seafood in store too.
Look like Canadian seafood in Edmonton.
Yes, fresh. Canadian sole, halibut and salmon, Canadian lobster, crab and mussels, Canadian oysters, and so much more Canadian.
Catch of the Week, Edmonton's best seafood. Just off the Henday in Capilano, only 5 minutes from Sherwood Park. Details and directions online at catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWill. Helping you find your electrical project is their goal. From pod lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at eWill.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. eWill.ca, your partners in power.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Monday afternoon. Of course, sports fans, there's no shortage of sports for you. The World Cup is ongoing as we speak. If you missed it earlier, Brazil did beat Japan, And so they have moved on to the next round. Paraguay and Germany are now into extra time. Are we going to get to penalty kicks here? Oh my goodness, that would be. Now the Uruguay was pretty upset. Imagine what would happen if Germany lost this one, because they obviously are a fairly big favorite in this match. And then tomorrow you have Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire taking on Norway, France, and Sweden, and Mexico and Ecuador. Canada, of course, yesterday got their big win, 1-0. I think the score flattered South Africa. I thought that Canada should have had a few more goals. No question. They had some opportunities. They missed a few. There was obviously one great sequence of saves by the defender, then another defender, then the goalie, and that was kind of wild. But it just seemed like it was building and building, and then they finally got a little bit of a break on an errant header that went to Eustachio, and boom, in the back of the net for a massive goal and the celebration. I talked to some people that were in the building, and they said it was absolutely crazy. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take your team, your group, your wedding party, your stag to your next destination. Ride in style, silentrides.ca. And Matthew Shinetti from TSN joins us once again. And Matt, obviously a huge win for Canada. That's a game they should have won, and they did win. I know in an elimination game anything can happen, but I thought after maybe a slow first 15 minutes, Canada really controlled that game.
Yeah, you know what, Jason, I'm gonna go off script a little bit and ask you about the moment, because for someone like me, I've watched the team for 6 years. I've been around them, next to Christian Jack from One Soccer and Joshua Cloak from the New York Times and The Athletic. We've watched them more than anybody else. So what was that moment like for you? Not the whole game, not breaking down the X's and O's in formation, but what did you feel about that moment? Did it mean something to you?
Well, yeah, like soccer was probably the sport I was best at as a kid growing up, and I liked it quite a bit. And so, I've watched it, and to me, because I felt like, well, Canada should win this game. So it was almost like a relief when they scored finally. I was like, thank God, because they've been the better team, and you didn't want to lose that game. And I just think there was something about getting that elimination win under your belt. Now you're at the, you're into the round of 16, and obviously they'll be an underdog. Doesn't mean they can't win, but so I thought it was important just to, at some point, like, to be a good nation, you have to win the games you should win. And I thought that was a game they should won, and I thought they deserved it.
And there you go. You hit the nail on the head in two ways. And this is something I've been having. I think I might have slept just a handful of hours as we get ready to go to Houston now. But just speaking to people around the country, either on phone calls or text message or what have you, that was pretty much the sentiment. This idea, this nervousness, this anxiety, and then this ultimate release and what seemed like the perfect time. And at the end there, your point is well taken, which is this, as great as the scenes were in Toronto, as great as the scenes were in Vancouver, for all the group stage games and, the obvious joy with the 6-0 win over Qatar, and then the frustration and disappointment of losing to Switzerland, this moment was magnified in a lot of ways, because you win this game and really the whole tournament becomes a success. Canada becomes a host nation, not only that progresses out of its group, but also wins a knockout round game. And the sport will evolve. I'm not someone who thinks it's going to dramatically change overnight, but it will evolve. And I think it'll even maybe escalate quicker because of the emotion you saw around the country for that moment, that goal from Stefan Eustachio, because ultimately, and I'm not implying that like now millions and millions and millions of Canadians are going to start playing soccer tomorrow, but there are going to be a lot of people who are going to attach themselves to this team, not only through, the next big moment, the round of 16 against either Morocco or the Netherlands, but this team is going to have a greater following than it has ever had before. And Stefan Eustachio in that moment is going to matter in a way that's going to be amplified because it was a game that mattered, because Canada had to win. I just think yesterday was one of those incredible moments we all shared as Canadians. Not only that relief and release that you talked about, but just that sense of pride that on what is the biggest sporting stage, the World Cup, our nation succeeded when it had to.
Yeah, and I think the other benefit was the time of the game. It didn't matter what time zone you're in. Kids could all watch that game. It wasn't too late, right? So everybody gets to watch it and celebrate. And kids, you can dare to dream about, hey, maybe I can be Eustachio or Benedito if you're a defenseman or you're a goaltender, And then the other thing was, hey, when your team's good, now you look at things and coaching deployment and stuff. And I looked at Canada and they struggled finishing at times. When they had some good looks and they didn't finish them. And maybe their best pure finisher didn't get on the pitch despite having 2 goals in the first 3 games. Can you explain, why is Kyle Larin not on the pitch?
Well, here now, I love this. I love now that we're talking about it because now we're really getting into the weeds. So let's get into the weeds here. The one reason, and it is something that Jesse Marsh has lamented since he started this job back in May of 2024 against an opponent that I'm sure we'll get to in the Dutch, because it would be very interesting if Canada ultimately faces the Dutch again, because it's the first opponent Jesse Marsh faced when he became Canada's coach. But they had recurring issues with scoring goals. Go back to Copa America. They scored 1 goal in the group stage, and that was Jonathan David's goal against Peru. Kyle Larin did not score, and Kyle Larin has scored incredible goals for the Canadian men's national team. He's certainly going back. Everyone remembers the goals in Edmonton, but certainly going throughout the 2021 qualifying, World Cup qualifying, and obviously that incredible goal against Bosnia, and obviously the one against Qatar. But this is a call that Jesse Marsh made, because certainly there was a lot of palpable frustration after the loss to Switzerland. There was a real sense in the camp that they should have taken at least a draw out of that game. And those 39 seconds at the beginning of the second half really did cost them. But this is what happens in tournament play. Jesse Marsh made a call, and I watched Kyle. I'm very lucky to be on the sidelines, and I watched Kyle Larin warm up. I watched him go through his paces. I believe if my eyes were telling me what I think they were telling me, assistant coach Ewan Sharp came over to Kyle Larin to talk to him, because in the event that Alphonso Davies could not get through the half hour of extra time, Canada would have had an extra substitute, which means I think Kyle Larin would have come in, and maybe that was Jesse Marsh's thinking all along, because Kyle Larin was very upset, as everyone remembers him telling me after the goal against Bosnia. He was very annoyed that he didn't start, and perhaps that was Marsh's psychological ploy, and he's used a few of those in this tournament to make sure that in the moment that Kyle Larin might be good to go. But here's the deal. He didn't need him. Stefan Eustachio's moment of magic now changes the entire narrative, but now we get into the round of 16. And as Jesse Marsh said himself, you're facing a giant and you're going to need to score. And it'll be a huge call who he starts up front, whether obviously Kyle Larin, Kenny Oluwaseyi, maybe Promise David. It's, there's a lot of big calls that are going to happen this week.
Yeah, to me, it should be Larin to start anyway, and they'll go from there. We saw the minute he came in, just the touches on the ball from Alphonso Davies, like he's at a higher level than others. And I watched him, and I don't know where his conditioning's at. I don't know where he is 100%, but just his touches of the ball, clearly he can make an impact. What's your thoughts, man? Like, could he get like a half an hour? Like, could we see him earlier in the game on Saturday, or is he still a guy who's likely to come on late in a close game? What do you think?
I would suspect he'd be coming on late. Look at what happened when he came on against South Africa. Almost immediately, the South Africans were like, oh no, we've got to mark. Not only one of us has got to mark him, maybe 2 or 3 of us have to mark him. And the attention, Alphonso had short bursts in which you could undeniably see that he was Alphonso Davies. But and anyone could understand this. His conditioning was likely not there. And on top of that, this is also somebody who, after dealing with all the hamstring issues he's dealt with, and even though he's taken time, a significant amount of time, and had not played before yesterday, had not played since the beginning of May, you can understand that he might have been, again, this minutes restriction component to the decision-making, he might have been a little, not skittish at all, but, he had to feel his way into the game, so the saying goes. It might be a little more intense, either against Morocco or the Dutch. So I suspect that Jesse Marsh will look to use him as an impact sub again, because he certainly made an impact. He pulls all that attention away from the middle of the field, gets an extra couple of defenders on him, little soft spots emerge underneath. And what happens after that deflected header from Jacob Schaffelberg? Stefan Eustachio is just right there at the right time where there was nobody else in the soft spot of that defense. So it worked out for Jesse Marsh. But again, completely different situation and completely different quality of opponent coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, so now you look at the opponent, and we'll find out later tonight, Morocco and the Netherlands. And I know the Netherlands are favorite, man, but Morocco, like, they're a gritty team. So if you look and say the matchup and styles, is there one you think's a better matchup for Canada?
Yeah, it would be Morocco. Morocco, those who would have remembered the last World Cup, Morocco was the opponent that Canada faced in that final, frankly, throwaway game. And I was right behind Canada's net, and they learned a real hard lesson in the first 25 minutes of that, because Morocco is fast, very fast, especially on the wings. Ashraf Hakimi, many will know from Paris Saint-Germain, he is the epitome of the speed that Morocco can beat you with. But Canada played their way back into the game. That was a very different Canadian lineup. Sam Adekoubi got the own goal against Morocco, and then it was Atiba Hutchinson who almost tied it late. So Morocco plays very much the same. This is who they are. That's their identity. And Canada, again, a locked-in Canada that even someone like Alistair Johnston has said, we all have to be playing together. We all have to be on the same page, because if we're not, anybody can beat us. So in order really to look at that Morocco situation as one that Canada can feel competitive in, they're two styles. They both go for speed. They both go for the press. It is attack, attack, attack. And, conversely with the Dutch, I mean, anyone who certainly watched that 4-0 win or the win that they had over Sweden would have seen just the technical skill that the Netherlands has, especially through the middle, especially in tight spaces. And given some of the injuries that Canada has, when you think about Ismail Kone's leg, the fact that Nathan Saliba has been a little inconsistent since being given Kone's starting job, Nico Segur, Moise Bombito, Derek Cornelius, these guys may not be all 100%, and you're going up against a team that likes to technically break you down the middle. So, Morocco is, I think, the better fit. But either way, as Justin Marsh said, this is a free play against a giant. And given what I've seen out of this team, facing Colombia in the fall, facing the Welsh, facing Romania, obviously the games against Argentina in Copa America, when it comes to the heavy hitters, when it comes to the big teams, the European teams, when it comes to a team either in the Dutch or the semifinalists from last World Cup, Morocco, that's the kind of game that this group does get up for.
Yeah, well, I'm very fascinated to see who they play. I would agree, Morocco, but let's say they play the Dutch. What's the best way? Because you can't just sit back, right? I think if you sit back in any sport, usually you're going to get murdered. So how would you think that they would attack? And is there any lineup changes that you would look at to start against the Dutch?
Yeah, I think if you're looking for speed up front, then you stick with Tani Oluwaseyi and Kyle Larin. If you're looking for speed down the wings and you're looking just to run, especially if it's Morocco, I wouldn't be surprised if, again, you see Liam Miller and Tajon Buchanan, even though you talk about we can debate inconsistency with Kyle Larin. There's certainly been inconsistency with Tajon Buchanan. And then, again, right now, again, the speed that Moise Bombito has, I'd start him again. You don't know how many minutes you can get out of him against an opponent that is higher quality than South Africa, but you need speed, because that's what Canada has been practicing it. Canada, that's what their identity is attack, 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 press, 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 and run as fast as you can. But up front, even though I know you like Kyle Larin, Jason, I think Tanny, if you're looking for wheels just to cause some chaos, and then in the end, is it Kyle Larin you bring in for more legs and a little bit more firepower, or the behemoth that is Promise David? So that's the wonderful thing now about where we are at, because you're talking about the nuances of the next biggest game in the history of the men's program. And even though there's a lot of injuries and the opponent is going to be difficult, Jesse Marsh does have options.
Lastly, you look at the whole tournament as a whole. Do you see a clear favorite in your eyes right now, or two?
Argentina and France. Like you're looking at when Erling Haaland is the guy telling all the world, well, we know France is going to win the whole tournament, and the Norwegians have a very talented team. It should tell you something. But I'm not throwing my hat into the Ronaldo versus Messi ring. But to watch the way that Lionel Messi is playing now in his late 30s, not trying to be physically dominant, but literally thinking the game on a completely different level that, many people will be talking about to their kids and grandkids, and looking back on the footage from especially this World Cup and in combination with the last World Cup in which Argentina won, and the way that Argentina plays for Lionel Messi. Right now, for me, my two favorites are France and Argentina.
All right. Matt, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the week coverage. And then we got the big match coming up on Saturday, 11 o'clock Edmonton time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And then, hey, for I know you cover the CFL for a long time. Elks fans are like, what the hell's going on? We get a Canada game, and then we can try to go undefeated against BC 6 hours later. So it'll be a great Saturday for sports. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, I missed the CFL. Can't wait to get back soon, but hopefully not too soon.
Yeah, there you go. That's Matthew Shinetti from TSN covering the World Cup in Canada. Of course, we'll take on either the Netherlands or Morocco. They start tonight at 7 p.m. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to 5 questions. This is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Alberta, we're wild and tough and beautiful. We agree that good enough isn't good enough. And know everything that matters starts with a home and a family. At Lux, our family has been handcrafting windows and doors for this incredible place for over half a century. There's no place we'd rather be. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Looking for mental health or addiction support, but not sure where to start? Contact 211. 211 Alberta can help you navigate treatment and recovery options, counseling, crisis services, and more. And because life's challenges are often connected, they can also help you find food, housing, and employment support. It's free, confidential, available 24/7, and offered in more than 240 languages by phone. 211 Alberta. One number, countless connections.
A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at www.cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$450. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, not here. Declan Cougar filling in for him for the next few weeks. And then, of course, you got Mac in as well today. Hope you're having a lovely Monday, it is the Bo Bichette return game. Man, Bo Bichette, man. He was asked about Vladdy Guerrero before the game. Couldn't even get his answer out. So pretty emotional. So who knows? Maybe those two seeing each other again will ignite their ability to play up to their level, because neither one of them is having a good season either in Toronto or with the New York Metropolitans, or most people just call them the Mets. Now, let's get to 5 question brought to you by The Brick, where right now, basically, Boxing Week returns at The Brick. Blowout pricing is on. Select mattresses. You get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. You can also get 50% off sofas when you buy the matching piece, 25% off bedroom and dining at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. You obviously just talked about it with Matt there. Canada winning their first ever knockout stage game this past weekend. Even 10 years ago seemed like a pipe dream. I saw a stat that when they put in the bid back in 2017, their 2 most recent wins were Bermuda and Mauritania. So when you look at the current state of the sporting world today, what is something that 10 years from now would be comparable to what Canada just did at the World Cup?
Well, see, it's really fascinating, because with the expanded, a lot of people are like, well, an elimination game now is different than it was 4 years ago. And theoretically, they're right. So, what would be comparable to this 10 years from now? I would say, I'll say Latvia making a final at the World Championships or the Olympics.
Okay.
In hockey.
Question number 2. Went out to Dallas today. I think when we talk about the state of the NHL salary cap and the bump it's getting, it makes sense. Jason Robertson makes more money on his next deal than Mikko Rantanen. I guess it's a 2-part question, because I'll add in, do you agree with that? And then second, moreover, is he a better player than Mikko Rantanen?
Well, he's definitely going to make more money. I don't, and that's just, more money doesn't mean you're better, but the salary cap goes up. It's just to me, that's just part of it.
Lay of the land.
Right. It's all, this guy's the highest paid player ever. Well, no bleep Sherlock, because everything's gone up. But, he's, I think, 3 years older as Rantanen. I still would, like, if you ask me who could I have, Rantanen or Robertson, I'll take Rantanen. But it doesn't bother me that he's getting paid more, because that's just like Kirill, the Thrill makes more than McDavid, right? I don't think anybody thinks he's a better player than McDavid, right? So I try not to evaluate the player just on their contract. Their contract's part of it for sure, and might limit flexibility for teams. But like Jason Robertson, I will say, turning down $15 million obviously shows you that he's like, I can make a lot of money anywhere else, and I'm not too worried about it. So he's like I've said, you get 12 million, you get 13. Like, the extra money doesn't make it. It makes all of us happier, because most of us aren't millionaires. But if you, for the average person, you would take the money all day. But when you can make, you know what, I'm going to get an 8-year deal, and I'm going to get 75 or 81. It doesn't really matter at that point. You've got so much money, unless you're a moron. You're going to have more than enough money for your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids forever.
And just real quickly, how many better left wings do you think there are in the NHL than Robertson?
Well, no, that's a good question. I think Robertson at times gets underrated, because people talk about, wow, it's foot speed. Who cares about foot speed? Isn't the only way to evaluate a player. So if you look at left wingers, Kirill Kaprizov, I think he's more dynamic. I think he can be a little bit more of a game changer. He'd be one. Is Panarin better? Maybe not anymore, but he was, like, his peak was better than Robertson has been. Kyle Connor's been a more consistent goal scorer. But so, Robertson's probably top 5 left wingers in the NHL, I would think.
Question number 3. Who is Pavel Dorofeyev's player comparison in terms of ceiling?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Like, you score. God, Like, he's already scored 37. Like, how much more can he score? Like, I think, going from 37 to 50 is really hard, right? Like, it's going to be really hard. So could he become Kyle Connor, who's like pretty consistent scorer? Like, that would be good. God, that's a good question, man. Like, who's a consistent, like, 35 to 40 goal man? Because he's done it 2 years, but he hasn't done it 6 years. So I'll say Kyle Connor. How about you?
I really, like, most of the time I go into these questions, I kind of have an answer. This one, I honestly didn't know. So I was really curious to hear who you came out with, because I couldn't pick a name just in terms of obviously consistency and style of play. Like, I didn't have one, but I like Kyle Connor a lot. Question number 4, which sporting GOAT has the biggest gap between them and whoever is in second place?
Of all time?
Yes.
Well, Wayne Gretzky. There's how can you have a bigger gap when you've got almost like 1,000 points more than the next guy? Like, no one's really close. And I know the young generation. Yeah, but look at what they played against. Oh, really? Did anybody else that he played against come close to him? No, they didn't. Like, no one dominated their era ever, set records that no one's touching. No one's ever touching them. Right? No one touched them when he played. They weren't close. So yeah, it's Gretzky for me. I don't see how it can be anymore. Who else could it be?
Yeah, like, I was thinking about this a lot, because Gretzky is really the only one in North American sports that isn't in contention, like, which just we all know. The only other guy I thought of for a sport like that, where it's just, there's no debate, is Michael Phelps with swimming.
Fair.
But there is something to say. It's like, well, like, if Gretzky was allowed to play 5-on-5 and then 4-on-4, and then 3-on-3, and then 2-on-2, and then, like, he'd have a lot more medals as well. So, not to be disingenuous what Michael Phelps did, but I think it would probably have to be one of those two. Question number 5. The Elks, last undefeated team in the CFL, but coming into the season, they had the worst Grey Cup odds, and like by a pretty decent margin as well. What do you think is the single biggest reason for that?
You go first.
So, quite bluntly, I think the biggest reason is sportsbooks haven't quite caught up to the CFL in terms of, betting. But I think, moreover than that, I think they just saw a lot of returning cast from a 7-11 team. Obviously, some splash signings, Coulter, Austin, Malik. But I think they saw a lot of return signings that were, questioned by some. And I don't think that the sports books necessarily understood what the Elks team was building towards the end of the season, what those guys meant, or what intangibles they brought. So I would say that would be one of those two, I guess, would be the single biggest reason.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think the other one is they I don't think a lot of sports books maybe value offensive line as much as they should. I think that, because it was really you got 3 new guys in the offensive line, right? It wasn't just Coulter. You got all new tackles, and O'Donnell moved over to the left side, and they've been really, really good. And just the experience factor. Like, you look at how many teams have rookie DBs. The Elks have none. Who has the best defensive statistics for the first 3 weeks? Well, technically 4 weeks. The Edmonton Elks. And lots of other teams have one guy. There's been teams putting up big numbers against some inexperienced secondary guys, and Edmonton doesn't have that. They have a lot of continuity, and even though it was a team that lost last year, after their slow start, they're a pretty competitive team. And they look back at how many games they gave away last year, Deck, because they didn't know how to win. They still knew how to lose. They didn't know how to win. I thought the game in Winnipeg showed the Elks finally know how to win. They had a lead, they gave it up, and then they came back in the last 2 minutes and took the lead over and won the game. And to me, that's the difference. This team knows now they don't lose games. They're not going to win every game, but they gave away games last year. And so far this year, they haven't.
Yeah, perfect answer. I like it. And that's all I have for you.
There you go. 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Coming up, Mark Spector will join us after Declan Cougar and a Sports at 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Got a few days left. Get in on their biggest sale of the summer. That's the Road Trip Ready event, northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
FIFA World Cup round of 32 action currently in the 109th minute. Germany and Paraguay. That game locked 1-1. Germany with a corner. The final from earlier saw Brazil over Japan 2-1, and the Netherlands and Morocco will go at 7. MLB scores right now. Orioles lead the White Sox 1-0 in the middle of the second. Phillies lead the Pirates 2-0 at the top of the second. And the Blue Jays will be in action at 5:07 as Bo Bichette returns to Toronto. Trey Savage on the bump. And you can, of course, hear it on Sports 1440 AM dial only. News from around the sporting world. The Edmonton Oilers have issued qualifying offers to defenseman Spencer Stastny, as well as forwards Colton Dock, Roby Arventi, and Owen Michaels. Troy Stetcher staying with the Toronto Maple Leafs with a 2-year extension at a $1.35 million AAV. Matthias Michelli, no qualifying offer and will become a UFA. Big news out of the NBA is John Morant has been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant the return in that one. Lou Dort also picking up his $17.7 million team option with the OKC Thunder. I'm Declan Kruger. Up next is Mark Spector and Rick Tracy. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Canada's men's rugby team at Clark Stadium. July 4th, Canada takes on Spain. July 11th, a doubleheader as Canada battles Portugal and Tonga faces Spain. Build the home field advantage for Team Canada. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
You want it? We got it. At Harley Davidson of Edmonton, we have a huge bike inventory just waiting for you to ride. We're not a car dealer. We're your local family bike shop. We are riders supporting riders. Come find your dream bike here at Harley Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980. Find us at hdedmonton.com.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
For decades, the pioneer spirit of Alberta has been exemplified in the chuck wagon racing legacy of the Dorchester family. And today, you can experience it every time you hit the links. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is in top mid-season form. Enjoy the longer days on this historic 18-hole course near Pigeon Lake. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca. For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book it now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Don't you start no fight. 'Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite.
It's after 5 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McClellan with you on a busy Monday afternoon. Germany forced to go to over. Now, did that goal get called back?
It did. Yes, it did. It was it was ever so slightly offside. It's that VAR thing they do where it's by like an elbow and we got to call it back. I don't love it.
It's like the NHL, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Because I look up, oh, it's 2-1. Now I'm like, what? That happened. So there you go. Man, they might be going to penalties here. It's late in the 30 minutes of extra time. Oh, and in penalties, man, anything can happen. I still think Germany's the favorite, but we'll have to see where it goes from here. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can always play casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one stop. That is PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. And they remind everyone with obviously all the extra rain, construction areas, a little bit more worrisome. So be even more attentive and slow as you go through construction zone from GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
That was a joke calling back that goal. Like, that was a good goal. The goalie dove, and then they decided that somebody knocked him over. It was just a brutal call. If I'm Germany, I'm sour. How do you say sour in German?
Ask Leon. He would know.
Leon is sour right now. He's not liking that call one bit, man. It's a bad call.
All right. Man, another crazy weekend in the National Hockey League. The draft on Friday night, we saw lots of other big trades. Dorofeev gets moved. That was a pretty big deal for the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, I'm still surprised by that one. And, the Rangers get him 7 years at $11 million. They get 2 first rounders and a third. But this guy scored, 35 and 37 goals the last 2 years. He has the most goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he's really their youngest forward of their top 7 or 8 forwards, right? A lot of the other guys are 28, 29, 32, 34 in the case of Mark Stone. Obviously, I know the salary cap played a little bit of a factor here, but how surprised are you, Spec? Now they've had a few days to look at, I was thinking Vegas has a history of getting rid of other guys if they have to. And this way they kind of got rid of the younger guy.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't want to, but they're capped out, man. Like, it's cool when you're able to go after all the big fish like Vegas does, and good for Vegas. When they got Thomas Hertl, we were like, oh man, what a great move. They're just going to be so good. Well, guess what? Thomas Hertl's got 4 years left at 675, and there's not a ton left in Thomas Hertl anymore. I know he had a couple goals that were big ones in the playoffs, but their taste for getting every big player. They spent $12 million on Marner, right? They spent $13.5 on Eichel, and that's awesome. But at some point, you're going to groom a young guy like Dorofeev. He's going to come along and say, hey, guess what? I could get 10, 11 million, and you can't pay him. Calvin McCrimmon can't pay him. He just could not pay him. So Good for the Oilers, bad for Vegas, good for the Rangers. I like Dorofeyev, man. He's just got that knack for putting pucks in the net. It's not very often you groom up a player like Dorofeyev, and when you do, boy, you sure would like to keep him, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. So now, the draft goes through, and there's been tons of trades. I calculated it. There's been 29 trades involving NHL players, like guys who are NHLers. I didn't even include guys who are swapping picks. I'm just talking actual, NHL trades here. And we're not done, because obviously there's a list of other players that could be dealt here, from Werenski to Larkin, Darnell Nurse. Of course, like my understanding as of last night was that Darnell Nurse still hadn't changed out his plan on his teams in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Boston, and which we know that Anaheim's interested. We're hearing San Jose's interested, but so far he's like, no, I'm not interested in that. So, we'll see what Stan Bowman does here, but that's obviously going to play an impact in the Oilers' decisions moving forward into free agency.
Yeah, listen, Nurse is part of this thing. The Oilers, we all know how this unfolded. The Oilers came to Nurse and said, look, a year from now, we're going to be able to trade you to half the league, 2/3 of the league. So if you want to go now, we'll take a list from you and you can be part of this thing. A 3-team list is awfully small. And it's pretty clear that Stan Bowman can't make a trade that is amenable to the Oilers with the three-team trade list. If he could have, he would have done it by now. He's talked to those 3 GMs ad nauseum, and there's no deal here. So Darnell Nurse, I would say to you, he's got 2 choices. Swallow it and come back to Edmonton in the fall, or make your trade list bigger. One of the 2. If I'm Stan Bowman, I don't make a deal I hate to send him to one of his 3 teams. I tell him, well, I guess I can't trade you, and I guess you got to come back. I'll see you in September. Because the Oilers can't get ripped off on this trade. It's hard enough trading Darnell Nurse at 9.25, Jay. You can't get hammered on this trade. That's just not worth it for Stan Bowman.
Yeah, no, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. So we'll kind of have to see where it goes from there. You've talked about Connor Ingram, Kasperi. I wonder about Kasperi Kapanen, and if we see a Kasperi Kapanen a la Brett Kulak situation here. Checked it out, ends up signing back in Edmonton.
Well, it's a good question. I sort of would ask you, I think the Oilers are ready to pay him third-line money, and I suspect he's in the market looking for second-line money, and that's fair. That's what he should do. That's why you become a UFA. But maybe you're right, Jason. Maybe he looks around and finds out that everyone else wants to pay him third-line money too, and he says, well, I think he would say, well, I like it in Edmonton. My understanding is he was happy here. He certainly played his best hockey here, right? Out of his last 3-4 stops, Jay, his time in Edmonton has produced the best hockey in Kasperi Kapanen's career. So, maybe if he's got to settle for third-line money, he settles for it here. I was told today that it is not a given that he's not coming back, that it is not, is unknown at this point whether they'll get him or whether they won't get him, but it is not a known factor here that he's leaving or he's staying. So it tells me, maybe if Nurse gets traded, there's a little bit more money for him when he stays. Maybe if he doesn't, he's got to go somewhere else and get his dollars. Who knows?
Well, hey man, look, third-line players. You kidding me? Look at Drac Drury. He just got $4.5 million for a lot of money. Beck Malenstein's a good 4th liner. He just got $3 million. Numbers are changing for some teams who really want a guy, and so I could see how Kapanen's like I know in Edmonton they're thinking, okay, $2 to $2.2 million or whatever, but times are changing, man. And the Oilers basically, with Darnell Nurse on the roster, they have about $7.41 million remaining. And that includes, they got to sign Doc and Stastny, who they qualify. They're not going to cost, but let's just say between those 2, it's like 1.9 or $2 million, give or take, whatever it is. So that leaves around $5.4 million to sign a goalie, and then at least one other forward. Right? Because I would give you 7. And then now if you trade Darnell Nurse, whatever comes back in the trade, I would assume there's going to be some players, maybe some cap space, we'll see, and then away they go. So they've got some room, but not a ton of room to maneuver here.
So it sounds like, and as you describe it, and I think you're right, the Nurse negotiation here is really sort of holding the Oilers hostage to some extent. They don't know how much cap space they have, because the minute they trade Nurse, I think they'll end up with some cap space, right? I think they'll end up with, it's very plausible that they end up with a couple $1 million in cap space, maybe 3. You know, who knows who they take back, right? So yeah, Stan Bowman can't, you know, he's talking to Marcus Lado, who is the agent for Kasperi Kapanen, and he's saying, hey, listen, if I have this much cap space, I'll pay you this. If I don't get that cap space, I can't pay you that. So if I'm Marcus Lado, am I hanging around in Kasperi Kapanen? Am I hanging around waiting for a Nurse trade? Or am I saying, well, some other team wants to give me my number, see you later? That's where Stan Bowman's at. It's not a great spot. I think he'd love to consummate this Nurse deal and get it off his books, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, I think he would. You look at the the Larkin, Werenski, Hellebuck, I think is a low chance of him getting moved. But, Werenski and Larkin, Steve Yzerman's come out and said, hey, man, the guy's got 5 years left. But here's the thing, Spec. I know he played hardball with Drouin, but Tampa was a very good team. He was a depth guy. Wasn't one of your leaders. It wasn't a top-line guy. And now maybe he can come back and maybe they just say, hey, man, you play well, and when there's the right trade, away we go. But if you think you're going to get traded and you're going to go exactly where you want, it's not going to happen. So what do you make of Werenski and Larkin and Nurse and all these guys? Do you think one of them is more likely to get traded sooner?
Well, the best player is Werenski. So if you're asking me who gets traded first, Werenski's the top of the pecking order. Teams will switch their whole financial picture around if they can, and they'll move people. They'll do whatever it takes to get Werenski. Nurse isn't that guy. I'm not trying to rip on Nurse. He's not Zach Werenski. Zach Werenski's a reigning Norris Trophy winner. Larkin's somewhere in the middle, but I think Larkin's showing you that Steve Yzerman's saying what we just said about Bowman, Jay. Larkin gave him 3 teams. He doesn't like the deal for those 3 teams, and he's telling Larkin the same thing. Maybe you got to come back, right? Maybe you don't get to go anywhere, pal, because I'm not taking a lousy deal to one of your 3 teams that you want to go to. And that's no different than Bowman and Nurse. Does Nurse, maybe Nurse wants to stay. I got a friend, Jay, and he says when you're selling something, maybe you're selling a car, you're selling your house, and you have a price on it that's unrealistic. And he always says, are you selling or are you just advertising? Because with that price, you're just advertising. Well, right now, Nurse is advertising, right? Right now, Darnell Nurse, no one wants him of the 3 teams he wants. If he really wants to move out of Edmonton, and I don't know how bad he wants to move, but if he wants to move, got to open up that list a little bit. And Larkin particularly, because Larkin was the one who really he started all this in Detroit, right? Larkin was the one that went to Detroit and said, get me out of here. Well, guess what, pal? You might have to have 7 or 8 teams you're going to, not just 3.
Yeah. With the Nurse potential trade spec, how important do you think it is for the Oilers to I don't know, maybe you wait for the trade, or do you bring in another defenseman in free agency just in case? Because I'm not sold that Stastny's like a reliable 3rd pair guy. I think he's more of a number 7, which is fine. He's a good number 7. But I don't think he's a number 5.
No, me neither. I think you need to. So, and this is a bit of the issue here. Now, how far can you go over? Can't you go well over the cap?
10%. Yeah, 10%, which would be you could go $10.4 million over the cap.
That's tons. I mean, the defenseman that they're getting is going to be a, $4 or $5 million guy tops, right? And that's what I'm thinking, don't you? So, yeah, I would say that you got to go shopping in free agency as if you are trading Nurse. And then I guess if it comes down to it, Jay, and you got to take a bad deal for Nurse just to clear the space, I guess you do. But you can't sit there and wait until August to trade Nurse and then look around for free agents, because all the free agents are gone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I look at some of the names like a Jamie Alexiak, even a Logan Stanley. If you do trade Darnell Nurse, you need some toughness on your back end, and they don't have a lot of it if he's gone.
Yep. No, I agree. You need a guy that does a lot of the things he does. He doesn't play the fancy minutes, Darnell. Darnell doesn't get power play time. Darnell doesn't get soft O-zone starts all the time, right? He's a D-zone start, penalty killing, end of the game, hard guy. Like, he plays hard minutes, man. He gets all the hard minutes here and plays against good players. So you got to go out and find a guy that can handle most of that, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Mark Spector
Yeah.
joins us. Spec, here we are. It's June 29th.
Okay.
And the Edmonton Elks are the last remaining undefeated team in the league. They're 3-0. They went.
Who didn't
They've
see
allowed
that coming?
they've allowed the fewest points in the league, and you know what? They look pretty good. Like, they're not perfect, right? Like, they've left some points on the board at times, but man, like, they look like a legitimate team.
Well, listen, I think what I see in watching them play is I see a team that's still working through it, a team that's still got things to get better at. Like, we watch them play and you see mistakes that they make, or getting down to the one and not punching it over, or the red zone hadn't been great. Like, they could be better. They can do a lot of things better, and they're 3-0. So if you can win while you're sharpening your pencil, good for them. I mean, this is unheard of, that you can, be 3-0 and look at your game and go, yeah, our game's pretty good, but it can get way better. I will say, like, you brought it up there, that the least points allowed to me is the defense. That's why they are where they're at. Their defense has allowed their offense to scuffle a little bit at times. They've allowed their offense to not be as how would I say, the red zone play hasn't been great. The defense has covered their rear ends on that. So good for those guys. Jay, they got a nice looking team there, and I think they can get way better, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Right. Like, they're not a finished product at all.
No.
Last game, now granted the weather helped, but their D line, that's the first time we've seen some consistent pressure. Eddie Steele was on the show before the game saying, dude, like, they gotta show their presence, and they were there. Their secondary is good. Their linebacking core, even without Nick Anderson, Mogensen's pretty solid. Up front, like, they lost one of their best offensive linemen early, and because Ed Hervey brought in depth, they haven't really missed Coulter Woodmansey. Right? Like, maybe slightly, but it hasn't been glaring by any stretch of the imagination. The next thing is the receivers catch the damn ball. There's been too many drop balls from receivers this year.
There has been some drop balls. Yep, for sure. And I mean, I guess 2 of the games have been played in the slippery rain. So we'll give them a little bit of a break, but hey, listen, I don't label me, like, don't catch me picking apart a 3-0 Elks team, man. These guys haven't been 3-0 forever. They haven't had this much success forever, and good for them. They're, whatever's going on, they're doing it right. They're playing it right. They've got guts. Like, they're in some tough situations and they're coming out ahead. I got all day for what they're doing down there, man. Give them some credit here.
Oh, no, I've liked the Elks, but you said, could they get better? I'm like, yeah, they can get better, because there's some areas of their game, just small little things that I look at it. And, hopefully when they have their next home game next Thursday, the weather is nice. Because I think you've got a lot of people, I can just tell by the text line here today when we've talked Elks, there's a heightened excitement around the team for the first time in a long time. And lastly, Spec, Team Canada gets the win yesterday. Eustachio becomes the hero. They dominated long stretches of the game. It seemed like it was only a matter of time, but they, you never know in soccer/football. And they got it done. And now they'll find out later tonight if it's the Dutch or the Moroccans. But what'd you make of that game for Canada? And because I watch a few games, but still, soccer is a sport I thought I was the best at as a player overall, because I could run better and I could skate. I look at Canada against the Dutch or Moroccans. I'm playing Kyle Larin because he's the best pure finisher I think they have.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll do our best to break that down when the day comes. We know who they're playing. Like, I think we still get to have another day enjoying their first ever win in an elimination game like that in the World Cup. It was just, I mean, and I guess it's amazing, like, how, I've watched as a sports fan and covered some of the Canadian men's soccer team. The women have had a lot of success, right? They've won Olympic gold before, and they've been at the top of the rankings for many years. But the men have struggled, man. They've struggled getting the right coach. They've struggled getting players placed around the world in places where they can play and get better. And then when they get there, it's hard to get their release. And I mean, I can think of a million reasons why the Canadian team has lost games over the many years. And I'll tell you what, there hasn't been a lot of reasons that they win a big one like they just did. And all of a sudden the ball's on Eustachio's foot and he's drilling it in the corner and there's no time left. And it's like, oh my God, this is like 40 years here culminating in one awesome goal for Canada. So it was great. Great.
Spec, I'm watching this live, and I can't do live play-by-play, but Germany and Paraguay in the into the penalties, man. Oh, my goodness. If you get in the penalties, anything can happen. This could be a huge upset, so I'll have to see how it
boy.
ends.
Okay, sounds good, brother.
There you go. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and by then we should be able to give you the results between Germany and Paraguay. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now. Save 50% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week, only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place and Ice District.
Boxing Week is back at the Brick. Don't wait until winter. Get blowout pricing now. Save 55% off sofas when you buy the matching piece. Save up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery when you use your Flexity card. And buy more, save more. Up to $500 off select major appliances. Don't miss the return of Boxing Week, only at the Brick. Exclusions apply. See in store for details.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest. Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection, making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:30. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Declan Kirk. Deck, is it over?
It sure is. Paraguay has won in sudden death of the penalty shootout.
4-3. So Germany is out. Wow. Absolute wow. Hey man, that's why they play the games. That's why they play the games. It's crazy, man. Crazy stuff at the World Cup. Now, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is where you can text. We've got a lot of texts coming in on hockey and football, a little bit soccer as well, as it's time to talk a little hockey, to put a bow on the NHL draft. Of course, no one better to talk to than the guy who oversees the draft for the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, Rick Precy, who is the head of amateur scouting for the Edmonton Oilers, is the guy, I think it's fair to say, with the final call. I know they don't like to say that or not, but somebody has to be the final decision maker, and Rick joins us now. Rick, I know when you work all year, obviously everybody would like to have a top pick, but when your team's competitive, you understand why you don't have a top pick. So how much, because you've been on both sides, you've drafted where teams had a top 10 pick, and then this year, obviously, you didn't have one until, well, it was 52 until you traded down to 58. How does it change? Like, you don't have to, I guess, look at the top 10 players. You still have to do like a top 30 list, even though you don't have a first round.
Yeah. Almost we view it as you have to know all the players. We start, that canvas in the first half of the year, probably up until your meetings in January, you're still acting as if you're 1 to 32 in that first round. And then once you get a clearer picture, you start to head into certain areas where you think the pick might come from. But you have to know the players in order to know the big picture. You have to know the board. And then, it's also that investing in the future. So names come up throughout their careers. There's trades, there's free agency, there's kids that don't get signed. So we still need that baseline work on all the prospects, even if we don't have the pick. We have to know the kids as they enter the league. So still a big job to do, whether you have the pick or not.
Okay. So as you get there, kind of take us through the conversation when you're at a number 52 and, an offer comes in. Okay, do we trade down? You obviously feel that there's 6 or 7 kids that you're confident that you'll get one of them. Is that kind of how you balance that out to make sure it's worthwhile to trade down?
Yeah, we actually look at both ends of it. So not that we think we're smarter than anyone else or anything like that, but we assign names to the picks type of thing. And when we get to that threshold at 52, we also thought we were going to have to make a real difficult call at 84. And when we looked at the big picture, 84 to 180 in the 6th round, we thought if we could attain a pick in the 4th or 5th round, we might have a chance to get 1 or 2 of the players we were looking at 84.
Okay.
So sort of pre-baked into the plan, we had a threshold, option A, option B, option C. When we see our thresholds, then we say, okay, can we get paid? Okay, we have a pick to make it all worthwhile. And we gambled we get the same player we were looking at, or to your point, if you missed out a couple of the prospects you felt were fair value in the same range, and you make it work. I think what really happened, we do a lot of research. So at 52, we had 16 defensemen historically going before our pick in the last 10 years.
Okay.
And then there was only 10 defensemen that went in the first round. So we kind of thought, okay, we'll get some action on blue liners going before our pick. And then from 33 to 43, there was like one D-man taken. So we were like, oh, okay. We're not in retreat mode or anything like that, but we're like, okay, we might not be able to attain the area on the list, or if we're going to get into a certain area on the list, let's see if we can get paid to do it. So that was the thought process.
Well, it worked out because at 53, 54, and 57 was all defensemen, and then there was a goalie mix in there from Boston, and then you got the center, and then there was a 3D taken in the 5 picks right after you. So obviously the numbers you were looking at worked. Tell us about Rudolph's Burskons, the big Latvian from Muskegon in the USHL, and what do you like about his game?
We're excited about him. One thing is we didn't love the draft in terms of center depth overall. So to be able to get one and then be able to get one with size, that was really attractive, especially at our position. And then we think his game is a little bit on the raw side, and I mean that as a positive. There's lots of growth potential. He's a great big kid that's still growing and filling out. He moves quite well for his size. We think his hand skills are something we can develop. He's, they're quality now, but we think there's a next level there that we could him work with. And we just like the way his game progressed. He's had, experience as a depth player on a long playoff run a year ago, and then more of a featured type this year on 2 good Muskegon teams. So back-to-back league finals, 2 World Juniors. We just felt he kept getting better and better and basically pushed himself into our draft board where we were picking. So we think lots of upside here.
Okay. So when you see a big body like that, like 6'4", you mentioned lots of raw talent. So, part of it as the director of amateur drafting and scouting is, you want to get the players, but then you really have to work with the development team to say, okay, how do we help develop this guy? Right. And, whether it's Connor Allen or whoever's in charge of that, Rick, how much is do you kind of just hand them off now, or do you always still have a say in, when you watch the prospects once they're in the organization?
Probably a bit of both. Like there clearly is a handoff, in order to give the kids the attention they need and a point person, clear communication, that part, is taken over by another department. And then there's that sort of collaborated effort of, this is what we thought, this is what we know about his personality. Here's the transcripts or the audio of his interview sessions. This is what we think his learning style is. This is what we think his personality is. And this is what we thought of his game. And then we kind of sort of move that information along. And then clearly we're in the amateur rinks, so we see a lot of our prospects, certainly before they're, they hit pro. So then you're constantly reporting, I'll check in with the kids, wait for them after the game, say hello, give them a text here and there when I see them play type of thing and make sure I'm visible. But clearly they get the full attention of our development staff, which is what they need. And it gives them a point person and someone that's hands-on, daily, weekly type of thing that's we think we can. It's one thing to draft them, but if we can work together as a group to make them better, that's the only way to take the next step.
Rick Pracey joins us, Director of Amateur Scouting for the Edmonton Oilers, just fresh off of the 2026 NHL entry draft. And if you look at, Malcolm Gastrin plays in Modo, the Modo German Junior League over in Sweden. How would you compare that league for any of the fans who haven't seen it? What's the quality of play? A good young player who was second on his team in scoring this past season.
Yeah, like he started in the U18, then he moved up to the U20, and I would say the U20 would be like equivalent of like a junior hockey, maybe not at the level of the depth. Let's say like they certainly have high-end kids. If you just look at the first round, the number of Swedes that went, you can use that as a comp. It's sort of not the depth or the style of play of a major junior league or a high-end college, but it's would be equivalent to a junior hockey league, I would say. And there's high-end skill set in it. There's speed in the league, and the first round alone, I'd have to go back to the numbers, but I think it was 7 Swedes? Now, a couple of them were playing in the pros, but there's a couple of kids too also played in the same junior loop.
Yeah. Okay. So in your history, you look at it, and I've done a lot of just kind of off the top. When you look on average of age, lots of Swedish guys just take a little bit longer, Rick, in their development. So when you have a young player like that, you look and say, hey, we want to help them. But, you talked earlier about kind of how you look at history of defensemen here available. Do you look at the history of development overall of most Swedish players and realize that you need a little bit more patience with them?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even Europeans in general, and I don't want to be sort of hand washing a whole population, but the kids we find maybe multi-sport is a little more evident. Maybe the sport specialization in terms of hockey 24/7 might not be as prevalent. So just little things in body type, they might not be into the gym as early as North American players. So I think it's just a bit of a slower process. That's the way I would look at it. And then there's certainly that undersized or lighter framed Swede that has ability, that has managed to make their way to North America in time and become, top 9, top 6 NHL players. So there's always that allure of the later, the birth dates into August, the frame, not playing on a national team. We're constantly scouring for value. We know he's a good player. We just thought there was extra value there. We know I don't pay too much attention to ratings or anything like that, but I know he wasn't a high-end rated player type of thing in the grand scheme of things. So we like the ability, we like the time frame, we actually like the body type. It just needs time to fill out. His brother's a player. His dad was a former player. It's a hockey family coming from, one of the most popular hockey hotbeds in the world. We just think with time, there could be some dividends here.
Rick Precy joins us. Rick, when you get into the later rounds, what's historically what's your strategy and how you look to find the diamonds in the rough? Because they can be found, but obviously it's a lot harder when you look at it historically to find a player who can play in rounds 5, 6, or 7.
I would say one thing, we look for overachievers. We look for jagged resumes, kids that maybe have been cut or bypassed. We look for backgrounds that suggest resiliency. We're looking for that extra motivation. Competitiveness is a must. I also think, again, environment. We look for players that have strong second halves. We look for players that, push their way into lineups. We look for good players that are on depth teams that maybe are not getting opportunity. We think that are there. And then the inverse, we look for, maybe good players that are on poor teams or non-playoff teams and just simply we're underwater every night. So I look at the analytics in terms of metrics. I want efficiency. I want to know who's doing the most with the least. I want points per 60. I want even strength points. I want non-power play points in terms of limited their numbers of how much time they're on the power play and with whom. Because I think that's the best way in our position. We have to be aggressive with our evaluation in terms of upside, and that comes with risk. We could make mistakes by overvaluing kids, but we're trying to find within their environments where we see value, and just keep mining for it. But second halves, and then again, looking for kids that we think are really good players that just are maybe burdened a bit by lack of opportunity.
Yeah, that's fair. Rick, you have been scouting man for a long, long time. And you were a goalie yourself. So maybe you have an advantage, but it seems like without question, it's the hardest position to scout. Any insight as to why?
Well, I wasn't a very good goalie. Let's start with that. self-deprecation for you, but
Hey, man, you went to university. You still had it pretty decent.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate the love. I would say the volatility of the position, the inconsistency of year over year, the mental makeup, the challenges of trying the super teams, the insulated goaltender, the goaltender with the poor numbers, yet the greater grade A looks. I almost like volume. I like starters. I want to know how many times a guy, regardless of level, has played I don't know what you want to call a starter. Is it 70% of the games? Is it 68? Is it 75? I like volume. I like games played. I like pitch count. I like ups and downs. I like playoff runs. I like the delta between partner in terms of numbers. I like the numbers related save percentage to league. I just think overall it's the volatility of performance. And then if we think we have the answer in the now, like that old school, if I just like the guy who stops pucks, sometimes the answer is right in front of you. And sometimes there are guys that just stop pucks and then level the level. They prove they can do it. I like wins over numbers. I like save percentages over 30% or 30 shots on goal. I just have different ways of looking at it. And I don't think I have the answer. Clearly my draft record would suggest that I don't. But the volatility of the position to me is the hardest thing in the mental. How do you get to the point where someone's going to be able to, and then situation and timing and all those things. I'm not looking for an easy way out on the answer. I just don't have the answer.
No, that's fair. I appreciate the honesty. I think it's incredibly difficult to do. And so, I think sometimes when there is a goalie who's a can't miss, teams should be like, damn, we got to just take this guy because it's pretty rare to get one of those guys. And even then, though, it's difficult to know for sure. Rick, we really appreciate the rundown, man. Thanks so much for this. Enjoy some downtime a little bit.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And here with the kids at camp now and spend a couple of days with them and then make way home for a little rest.
Awesome. That is Rick Precy. He's Director of Amateur Scouting for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll come back. We'll get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. Cool with AC or cool with the heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
You want it? We got it. At Harley Davidson of Edmonton, we have a huge bike inventory just waiting for you to ride. We're not a car dealer. We're your local family bike shop. We are riders supporting riders. Come find your dream bike here at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980. Find us at hdedmonton.com.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Druid Irish Pub. Edmonton's favorite soccer home, the Druid Irish Pub, is back in the Ice District across from Rogers Place. Watch all the games with 650 Heineken only at the Druid Irish Pub.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We roll through. Jason Gregor. Declan Kruger with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As we get set to wrap up the show, the 2-minute warning of Cam Tate brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Here is Cam Tate.
Everybody needs a break from someone or somewhere they love. You know the line, the one your favorite aunt drops on you the day the love of your life hits the highway without you. Heartbrokenness. Is that a word? Doesn't matter. You know how it goes. If you love something, set it free. Bye-bye. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, well, Tinder. Here's my credit card. First in line. So apparently I am not the only one out here tugging on the North Battleford moonshine. They make it down on the riverbank, you know, southwest side of the bridge. Goes down real nice with a Mountain Dew. Okay. Sorry. The pitch. The free agent gong show. It opens Canada Day. And the Edmonton Oilers, they need a goalie. So guess who is not a UFO, but a UFA? Unrestricted, free agent. And remember what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I'm just going to put it out there. Light up the text line. Go crazy on it. 1-833-401-1440. Oilers sign. Stuart Skinner. 2-minute warning and the moonshine.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you that one ain't happening. I don't think Stu is coming back to Edmonton for sure. That is unlikely to happen. So we'll see. But that would get people fired up for certain. There's lots of former Oilers. Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard, Cam Talbot, maybe Connor Ingram might be a former Oiler. We'll see. We'll know. And very quickly, of course, free agency begins Wednesday, 10 a.m. right here on Sports 1440, and we will have all the coverage for you. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we'll have a little bit of a pre-free agent frenzy. We'll go around the NHL, look at some teams, and maybe we'll play a little bit of the matchmaker game. Teams that you think. Do you have a player, free agent to think, oh yeah, good fit for this team? And we also have to think of AAVs while you do it. You can't just say, oh, I want this guy. You got to give the AAV. So think about it. We'll have some fun with that tomorrow. On behalf of Declan Kruger and Kenzie McClellan, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday. Enjoy it. We'll find out who Canada's playing. It's either going to be the Morocco or the Netherlands. We will find out. Let's get to Declan and Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. They solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. They reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressures off your team. Hire Good. Stable jobs, create stable lives. HireGood.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Two finals from the FIFA World Cup, round of 32, Brazil over Japan 2-1, and then just closing off a few minutes ago was Paraguay over Germany 1-1, 4-3 on penalties for Paraguay. MLB scores around the league. White Sox and Orioles tied at 2-2. Phillies lead the Pirates 5-3. Rangers and Guardians 0-0. Tigers up big on the Yankees 5-0. Red Sox lead the Nats 5-1. Reds lead the Brewers 1-0. And the Blue Jays at the end of the third lead the Mets 1-0. News from around the sporting world. Earlier today, as the Oilers issued qualifying offers to defenseman Spencer Stastny, as well as forwards Colton Dock, Roby Urventi, and Owen Michaels. Florida Panthers acquired the rights to Radko Gudas in exchange for the rights to A.J. Greer. Troy Stetcher remaining with the Toronto Maple Leafs on a 2-year extension, a $1.35 million AAV, while Matthias Michelli did not get a qualifying offer and will become a UFA. Some news from the NBA world that broke earlier today. Former NBA players Malik Beasley and Ed Davis, plus an NBA agent, among 6 defendants indicted on gambling-related charges to a scheme that targeted at least 4 games during the 23-24 season. The Oklahoma City Thunder have also picked up forward Lou Dort's $17.7 million team option, and the Memphis Grizzlies did trade star guard John Morant to the Portland Trailblazers. Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray was the return. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440.